Hello and welcome to the unfortunate few who stumble across this. Me and Saber saw a little video pop up, and well, it's another generic. Or I should say, by the thumbnail and title alone, it seems to be another generic. Oh, how Warhammer is fascismo or whatever else issues.
It doesn't help that the thumbnail leaves very little impression that this argument will be nuanced.
Oh, what is it? Is it because it's
Literally fucking Hitler Space Marine.
yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna go through it real quick, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Warhammer is a universe where people fight wars using hammers. Okay, not really. Warhammer
But
40k
they
is
do,
a
though.
massive, bombastic universe in the grimdark future of the 40th millennium where humanity is fighting wars on an epic scale on multiple fronts against all sorts of horrors. Space orcs, space elves, literal
Alright.
demons from hell, humans corrupted by literal demons from hell, the Zerg, and also the Tau. Warhammer got its start as a tabletop game and
Calling them the Zerg.
Well, I mean, he's making a joke there.
I got it.
They're not. They're not really. They're not really like the Zerg, and they're also not really like the Tau. Or the Tau aren't really like the whatever they're called,
Protoss.
Protoss.
at the core it still is. Imagine chess but more complex, where two players bring out their hand-painted armies of miniatures and battle it out on a large board. It's a cool experience at game stores or game bars where you get to meet people, socialize, and show off your cool miniatures. Today, however, the
Do you think he's ever actually played a game of tabletop?
Nope.
Neither do I. God, the Space Marine 1 cover was so fucking cool.
Yes, it was.
Warhammer IP has already outgrown its tabletop niche and now includes ultra-popular AAA game titles such as the latest Space Marine 2.
Technically, I think only Space Marine 2 and Space Marine were AAA titles. I
don't believe any of the other games were made by. Well, maybe Fat Shark. So I believe they're the ones that made Dark Tide, which is. I mean, it was AAA enough.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think they're like Dawn of War. I think is better than, or I have more fun with than most AAA games. But I don't know if it technically counts. It's kind of a murky definition, so I guess it's a bit of a moot point.
Yeah.
With more than 2 million copies sold worldwide. But the Warhammer IP has not been without its controversies. We now have gamer-gators accusing the parent company Games Workshop of turning the game woke by introducing into it the most absurd creatures of all. Women.
It sounds like it's going to be disingenuous.
Okay, one, Gamergate has absolutely nothing to do with Games Workshop because one, Gamergate was about a bunch of people who had to be told that the games journalism can be trusted, which was silly.
You can just kind of watch the reviews to know they can't be trusted.
Yeah. And Warhammer's thing is, well, a tabletop game. And the lore accompanying that, not just a whole medium.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they introduced the Lady Custode thing did not go over well with anyone because it contradicts literally everything.
Rather than just, take man stuff and give it to women, why not just make woman stuff and let it be for women?
No, that's stupid and also gay.
They already have the Sisters of Battle. They could just do other versions of them if they wanted. They have how many different chapters of Space Marines running around? They could just do other legions of Sisters of Battle, Sisters of Silence.
Yeah.
You could start adding female miniatures to the guard regiments. Hey, there's a thing. I think there's an Eldar army that's all chicks too. You could expand on all those.
Yeah, you could. Or
you could be like, hey, we're gonna take this man thing and put a woman in it and pretend like it's a revelation.
we're gonna pretend it makes sense when it absolutely does not. Also, this is a Cadian face put on a Custode, which is just really bad because it has purple eyes. Custodes aren't from Cadia. So that's just a bad Photoshop thing as well, on top of a stupid argument. For shame.
No, wait, it's actually even more ridiculous. Gamergaters are mad that Games Workshop changed the lore of one of the factions that no one plays or cares about.
Everyone
Not
plays
sure.
Custodes. A lot of people play Custodes, dude. They're not a small
Yeah.
faction.
A lot of people play Custodes because they're
Good.
absurdly powerful.
And they look good.
And they look good, and you don't need a lot of miniatures to have a big army. They're expensive, so you know have half the minis and just as big of an army as someone else.
Yeah.
So saying that nobody plays them or nobody cares about them is a strange argument when they're literally the guardians of the emperor. But all right,
You know, it's obvious from that sentence alone. It's someone who I don't think has ever even stepped foot into a store.
no, probably not.
By saying that some of its soldiers can be women. If you want to, I mean, it's you assembling the miniatures. You can decide what head you put on them. And this resulted in a global outrage among people who have never touched a Warhammer miniature.
A bit ironic.
Yeah,
No, the it wasn't because you could add a woman because people have been adding or been wanting female guardsmen, for instance, for a long time, and
yeah.
people are clamoring for the Sisters of Battle range refresh, which remind people in case they forgot when that happened when the Sisters of Battle got range refresh, they were sold out consistently for like 6 or 7 months because so many people bought them.
Yeah,
It has absolutely nothing to do with her women. It has something to do with you're breaking previously established canon. Which I know people are stupid and they're like, oh, Warhammer's lore is constantly changing, as they forget the fact that the main issue that most people had with Warhammer for 30-something years was that the lore was stagnant and wasn't changing.
yeah.
Silly, silly people.
Or a woman. That's it, Games Workshop. I could suspend my disbelief for space orcs, space elves, and hell in space run by space demons, but women? If women are real, how come I never touched one? On the other hand,
Yeah. Super, genuine argument here.
Oh, very.
I can't get laid, therefore I play Warhammer. How can women want to play Warhammer? It's like, what? What do you mean? Goofy.
It'd be amusing if it wasn't so sad. Because going by the thumbnail and the title and the minute and a half we've seen so far, he genuinely seems to believe this.
Yeah.
opposite to the Gamergaters, we have an increasing number of voices saying that Warhammer 40k is starting to become problematic by turning from a satire of fascism into a celebration of it, especially with the latest Space Marine 2.
It was never really...
First off, they're not fascist. You can make the argument, I suppose, but it's wrong, because the way their government would have to exist, it'd be basically a term that doesn't exist.
The closest you get to is like a theocratic autocracy.
Yeah, so like, it's a religious space empire that I don't even think they have money. I think they just like the empire goes to plan. They go, hey, give us this stuff, or we kill you. And then if they give them the stuff, they leave. If they don't give them the stuff, they kill them and take the stuff anyway.
Yeah, so they have a thing called the Imperial Tithe, which can range from materials to people. So, like, you know, the Imperial Tithe for certain worlds could be like, you must produce 2 to 37 guard regiments every so many years. Right?
Alright.
Or it could be like, we need X amount of bajillion tons of food, or plasma coils, or guard tank, treads, or whatever, right? So, planets in the Imperium are relatively doing their own thing, much like the Roman Empire, which is what the Imperium was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
Where the main head of the government, the High Lords of Terra, are pretty much herding castles of cats, because you can't really maintain control because space is fucking huge.
Yeah, and I mean, while there's a lot of shit rules in 40k that you wouldn't want to be on, there's also a lot of decent ones too.
Yeah, and more to the point, fascism being an offshoot of socialism does not equal theocratic autocracy.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's also wrong. Fucking silly.
New game. Gamergaters counter this by accusing such critics of overreacting.
Also, wasn't Gamergate like fucking 10 years ago at this point? Let
Yeah,
it go.
It's longer than that. It's just.
For fuck's sake. Everyone involved in that whole mess was retarded. There.
I mean, you could just read reviews in the magazines game companies had at the time, like Nintendo Power, to be like, oh hey, or the Electronic Arts magazine, or
Game Informer.
where they would be like, oh hey, yeah, no, the first Fable's really good, we swear. And then you play it and you beat it in 11 hours, and you go, well, it seems kind of short and half-assed. Like, no.
Or you got IGN when they gave Mass Effect 3 fucking 10 out of 10s, and meanwhile on the banner of the website and on the sidebars, it was all advertisements for Mass Effect 3. Or all the way back to G4 when they were like, Force Unleashed, worst game ever made.
Yeah. It's strange.
No, games journalism was always dog shit.
That's why a lot of people don't really trust movie critics, like professional ones.
No, they've also almost always been dog shit as well. It's crazy how that works.
Reaction. It's just a game, you're taking it way too seriously, nobody wants to be a literal space Nazi, you guys need to chill the fuck out, they say. So what's going on here? Do Gamergaters have a point? Is Warhammer turning woke? Or are the critics correct here, and Warhammer is indeed turning into a celebration of fascism?
I mean, it's not really turning woke, nor is it turning to a celebration of fascism. One, because it's a Brit-bong company. There's no fucking way they're gonna do that. Two, it doesn't really show fascism in any way, shape, or form.
Well, when fascism is pretty much anything he doesn't like, everything is fascism.
I guess that's fair. So in that regards, it is fascism. You know, the same way any government I don't like is communist. There you go. And no, it's not really going woke, despite what some people want to cry. It's Games Workshop is a retarded company, and like most retarded companies, they're going to make bad business decisions based on what might get them immediate money via third-party corporate subsidiaries of corporations and government, bonuses. So a lot of the stupid quote-unquote woke shit that people see happening isn't because they care about being woke or whatever. It's because there's someone handing them a bunch of money and they go, you can do this. However, I'll change my tune on that the second female Space Marines get introduced, but so far.
Well, I always wonder what these kind of people, like, when they talk about how changing the war is not really a big deal and stuff, which he's sort of hinted at, he hasn't really flat out said it.
He's gonna get there, I guarantee it.
But, like, it's like, how different does the lore have to be before you go, that's probably not good. Like, if all of a sudden Space Marines were fucking babies that went into battle with cuddly teddy bears and they hugged their enemies into friendship and love, is it still the same game? No.
Yeah, and that's kind of another thing too, is these people don't understand. I don't even think they understand what they're arguing for. I don't think they have the brain power for it. Yes, I am calling him dumb.
Well, of course, this whole video, you fought against it's just my opinion, blah, blah. Well, yeah, your opinion sucks.
Your opinion sucks because you're stupid. There you go.
To answer this question, we need to talk about Starship Troopers, the subject of much online discussion as of late. Now, please hold that thought for a moment and let me pay some bills. You might have noticed that the world is kind of going insane at the moment, with...
Oh, this is because Trump won.
Really?
Think about it. He's just pissy because Trump won.
So, Trump wins where he's going to sit in the office and not do anything for 4 years before he gets, kicked out effectively. And then we'll probably get another Democratic one because Republicans hate fun. And then they'll just undo everything he did. But hey, 4 years of this guy getting cock-blocked in court or Congress.
Yeah, so he thinks everything's going to fascismo because Trump got elected, even though he does not sound American. So what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah.
If your country's not America, it doesn't matter.
Trump nominating a pro-Putin grifter as the director of U.S. National Intelligence and a vaccine denier as Secretary of Health. The political scene could not be more tense and uncertain. And this
Again, for America, maybe.
This is American nonsense. But not really sure how this connects to 40k.
Or Starship Troopers, you know,
Or Starship Troopers.
a movie and a book that came out, fucking, what, Starship Troopers came out in the 90s?
Yeah, the movie came out in the 90s and the book came out before that.
The movie came out like the 50s or 60s?
And the movie, or either way, neither one of those are fascist or communist or anything like that. They're straight up like pure democracies.
They're liberal meritocracies.
Yeah, liberal meritocracies. So I'm not entirely sure how they connect.
You think this person's even seen Starship Troopers?
Well, I won't say he has, but I also won't say he hasn't.
I guess that's the safe answer.
I have a feeling if he saw it, he probably had it on like his third monitor while he was reading about politics and the other two. Because this is probably just going to be a bunch of political nonsense that means nothing.
Oh, probably.
This brings with it a steady growth of politically motivated online harassment, among others. Keeping your personal data to yourself is more important than ever. And Delete Me, the sponsor of today's video,
Oh, for
is
fuck's
specializing
sake.
in just that. Once you tell them what to remove, they'll scan hundreds of data and request the removal of sensitive data.
I did not have ad on the,
It's just funny. It's like, oh, yeah, no, I totally care about Warhammer and all this nonsense, and there's politics going on, so I gotta get my buzzwords so that it'll get people who are whatever buzzwords you say that I like your video to agree. Also, here's my sponsor, where you're gonna get data broke. Newsflash, all your data's stolen already.
Yeah.
You have like a Facebook, a Discord, a fucking MySpace, a TikTok, a Tinder. Fucking, they steal from those sites, and then you go to these guys and they go, oh, well, we cleared out 100. You have no idea if they clear out 100. They can make all that shit up. You have nothing to prove.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because that shit's it's constantly getting recirculated. Your data's stolen. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Welcome to the future. I was not expecting the sponsorship right there. I'll be honest. Kind of funny though, in the worst kind of way.
About you, helping you reduce your digital footprint. In a week, they'll send you a privacy report where they will list out what sort of data they found.
I doubt they will send out a thing every week.
Well, no, they can send it out, but they can have whatever's on this. You have no idea if it's true or not.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't.
Like, hey, did you know fucking the fucking Tech Bankers Union had a bunch of your information and they were brokering it to people in India? But don't worry, we stopped them totally and 100%. We also got rid of the Confederacy of America. They were selling your information to the South. Yeah, how the fuck do you know? It's all bullshit.
No, you can trust the internet. The internet wouldn't lie. Especially copying on our internet. Remember the whole fucking...
It's like dudes who talk about, oh, you know, Factor's really good. Oh, yeah, my pre-made microwave meal is great. It's fantastic. I eat 3 every day to help keep me strong. Fucking... You know, Raid Shadow Legends is a great game. It's got over 5,000 characters, all of which suck. And then you can buy the newest one, which is the best.
You mean to tell me...
I play gacha games. This is bullshit.
You mean to tell me Raid Shadow Legends isn't the end-all be-all of video games? But so many YouTubers tell me it is.
Yeah, well, this is the first time I've heard of Delete Me or whatever this stupid shit's called.
It's all the same shit.
Yeah. I've heard of other things like it, but...
Yeah, so have I. It's all the same garbage, man.
Scan those websites later to make sure your data doesn't surface somewhere else. You can't always control whether you become a target through your personal data, whether for theft, harassment, or worse. But you can definitely make it...
Again, employment registration, and in government records. If someone's getting... Lots of things are constantly going to the government records, man.
If they're stealing your government records, you got bigger problems.
Yeah, like this is your data's stolen. This is a waste of money.
Maybe a lot of this stuff would be easier if all these fucking companies didn't need your personal information for everything.
Yeah.
Like, how much more do you need than my name and my fucking money?
Well, now we want your IP address, your fucking internet
We want
history.
your IP, your phone number,
Your location.
your loan information, apparently. Your purchase history.
Ugh, hate it.
Yeah, that's something else, probably. You know, Amazon probably sells your information.
Oh, easily.
Buy stuff. People go, hey, you know, this guy, he bought a bunch of toothpaste. Probably has bad teeth. Here you go. Maybe if you sell him some dental floss and a hydraulic cleaner.
I don't know why I thought you were about to say a hydraulic press, and I know that wouldn't have made any sense, but it made me smile.
Well, the hydraulic press is so you can crush the full tube of toothpaste into the hydraulic press, see what it looks like.
Ah. Okay, now it all makes sense. But yeah, absolutely. Every website you use from YouTube to watch together to Facebook is constantly selling your information. I know they say they don't, but they are.
Half the reason they ask you if cookies are okay.
Yeah. And if you say no, they kind of just go, well, we're doing it anyway.
Huh. It's unfortunate you feel that way, but now I'm going to boot you into the blood river like Geras.
It much harder for anyone to even try by taking a proactive approach to the protection and removal of your personal data. And the easiest way to do that is with Delete Me. Get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans by going to joindeleteme.com/Adam20 and use the promo code Adam20 during checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/Adam20, promo code Adam20. Thank you for checking out Delete Me.
The way he says Adam is weird.
Also, their icon for Delete Me is just the Xbox symbol, but shittier.
It's completely different. They're Xing out your data.
Yeah.
The bad guys.
I wasn't expecting a fucking 5-minute tirade on advertisements here, but here we are.
Starship Troopers is in many ways the predecessor of Warhammer, being one of the...
No! Warhammer's way older than Starship Troopers.
At least the movie, yeah. Okay, I paused out of pure shock, but I'm curious where he's going to go with this.
Did you know Dune is an inspiration to most sci-fi? Whoa, no way!
Did you know that Conan inspired things?
Did you know Conan and Cthulhu is part of the same universe? Holy cow! Actually, there are a lot of people who don't know that for some reason, but it is true.
It is true. And Conan's the best part of that universe because Cthulhu crap is boring.
It's mostly you go crazy and die at the end.
Yeah.
Although some of the stories are actually pretty good. I like the one about the guy who is getting chased by the growling.
Yeah, no, jokes aside, I do like some of the Cthulhu's stories and it's cosmic horror-y stuff. Just a lot of it gets horribly copied into being bland garbage.
Oh yeah, no, the ripoffs suck. There's a lot of Cthulhu ripoffs that aren't good. But that's not really relevant to how Starship Troopers is the original Warhammer 40k.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that back a minute because, like I said, I startled myself.
Thank you for checking out Delete Me.
No problem.
Starship Troopers is in many ways the predecessor of Warhammer, being one of the trailblazers of hard science fiction. Its setting is also similar to Warhammer's. We have a sort of centralized, militaristic human empire called the Terran Federation, battling it out with various alien species, including giant space bugs. Much like
No.
Starship...
The only alien species they fight is giant space bugs.
So I'm pretty sure they're the only other aliens at least in the movies, they're the only other aliens.
I haven't read all. I don't only think there's the one book, but as far as I know in the books,
It's also just the alien, the
it's
Arachnids.
also just the bugs. And unlike Helldivers, where the bugs are fuel, in Starship Troopers, they just want to kill the bugs because the bugs chuck meteors at us.
Yeah, they just want to kill us.
And also, a big difference is in the thing. The reason it's called the mobile infantry is because each one of them is basically a tank.
Yeah, it's because they have
power armor.
Yeah, like power armor came from the Starship Troopers book. Like, sure, but I don't think he's gonna go with that. I think he's trying to connect some bullshit. Oh, Warhammer's is fascism and Starship Troopers is fascism, so they're the same thing.
Well, neither one is fascism, but we'll see.
Troopers grew out of an original niche IP. With Warhammer 40k, it was a tabletop game. With Starship Troopers, it was a book which later got adapted into series, movies, and games, making the IP transition from niche to the relative mainstream. Now,
Did really?
Starship Troopers isn't mainstream.
No. it did well for the movie, but then no one really cared about it for a long time.
Starship Troopers, the first one is absolutely worth watching. So
Yeah.
if anybody hasn't seen it, go watch Starship Troopers because it's a great movie.
You skip the second one because it's one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah, skip the second one because it really shouldn't exist. And then
The third one's really funny.
the third one's not good, but it is funny.
And then there's like 2 animated ones that we don't talk about.
They're both very mid.
And they've had a grand total of what, 4 or 5 games over since the movie came out, and only 2 of them are within the last year. With the RTS and the shooter.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of games before that, but not a lot.
Yeah, and what exactly call it mainstream, though?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think any of the Starship Trooper games have done particularly well, but
No, I don't think so. At least nothing, like, noticeable. They probably made their money back, but that's probably been it.
Tabletop Warhammer is very different from video game Warhammer, Space Marine 2 in particular. And
Shockingly, it turns out the tabletop game does not play the same as a video game.
well, I for one am shocked.
Terribly
Even though
shocked.
I have a fully painted Black Templar army that I did when I was like 13. Yeah, no, I'm shocked. Playing those guys was different from playing the Space Marine game, which I also recently beat.
Shocked. Terribly shocking.
in the same way, there is a big difference between Starship Troopers, the book, and Starship Troopers, the movie. The 1997 movie...
It's not actually that big of a difference. I mean, there are differences, but like they're not that extreme. The main thing is like they don't have power armor, and Rico's dad doesn't die. Spoilers, by the way. But yeah, at least as far as I remember, they weren't too different.
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember enough of the Starship Troopers book.
I read it, but I don't remember most of it.
I read it when I was younger and trying to be smarter, and then a lot of it I just don't remember, so...
At the center of that god-awful discourse. The Starship Troopers book is rather jingoistic. Some people called it fascist literature, but
It's not, though.
No, it's a... We already mentioned.
Yeah, it's a liberal meritocracy. And liberal in the... Not the politically left sense.
Yeah.
I don't really agree with that label. The book is militaristic, obsessed with toughness and masculinity, heroism and honor, but it's otherwise not covert fascist propaganda or anything. It was written by a former soldier at the height of the Red Scare and McCarthyism in the 1950s, so as far as I can see, Starship Troopers is really a product of its time. It's still very right-wing, idolizes the military. In fact, in that world, the only way to gain full rights as a citizen is through military service and so on. But is it fascist? No, it's just 1950s right-wing and jingoistic. Imagine a sci-fi universe created
That's a weird way to word that.
Jingoistic?
Yeah, I've never even heard of a jingoistic political type.
I don't even know what that means. Or what he's trying to say.
I'm gonna see if that means something. You said jingoistic?
Yeah, jingoistic.
Jingoistic. Characterized by extreme patriotism, especially in the form of aggressive or warlike foreign policy.
Okay, but in Starship Troopers, the bugs attacked us.
Yeah,
attacked
the
humans.
bugs nuked us. We didn't attack them. I mean, there are people who are perfectly willing to get attacked in real life and not do anything about it, but I don't think fighting back is necessarily making us warlike. I mean, patriotism exists.
I don't think he thought this through when he said jingoist, but maybe the next 20 seconds he'll change our mind. Who knows?
Well, I think it's because it means warlike, although I don't think it really applies to Starship Troopers. I mean, it could. I could see the argument either way. So, I learned a new word today.
Yeah!
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
boomer who has a Clint Eastwood profile picture on Facebook and who can't shut up about how back in his day everyone worked 26-hour workdays 10 days a week and no one complained, as opposed to the weak and entitled generation today. Military service should be compulsory to teach these soy latte drinking weaklings some discipline, but in person the guy is nice to you and always offers you beer when you come over. That's the authorial context of the Starship Troopers book, basically. Now,
What?
That was a word salad to basically say nothing.
That was a word salad to be like, I hate the characters he plays, but he's a nice man. It's like, okay. Well, first off, you should always separate the art and the artist. Even if you don't like a artist of some kind and he makes good art, you can still enjoy the art and not like the artist.
Yeah,
That's perfectly fine.
This is something you should have learned by 3rd grade. At the absolute latest.
But, alright.
That was just a word salad that didn't mean anything, so...
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, while the book itself isn't fascistic, the Terran Federation in it kind of is, and the values of the 1997 Starship Troopers movie are, in many ways, the opposite of the books. The director, Paul Verhoeven, grew up during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands and didn't really like fascist, hyper-militaristic ideologies for obvious reasons. So he proceeded to subvert our expectations. Not
He didn't really, though.
Well, he subverted his own expectations because he thought people would hate it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I'm curious if this guy's going to go into the history of the making of Starship Troopers, because...
I fucking doubt he watched the documentaries on it.
I fucking doubt it, too, because it did not... Yeah, the director hated the book, but he didn't... Well, I'll get into it if he gets into it.
with medieval anti-air railguns firing tungsten rounds at Mach 5, but by turning the Terran Federation, the Starship Troopers, into a satire of jingoism and fascism. While the book depicts the Terran Federation's campaign against the bugs as a heroic struggle, the movie portrays it as a hopeless war started on false pretenses.
It wasn't started on false pretenses in the movie, though.
False pretenses. They destroyed.
They destroyed Guineveras.
Oh, Buenos Aires, which was effectively like just under California.
They destroyed like a whole ass Chicago, like Illinois-sized area of the planet with a meteor.
Yeah. So they did shoot the Earth with a meteor. It's not really false pretenses at that point.
Yeah.
If we nuked Russia and Russia declared war on America for that, I don't really think Russia's in the wrong, you know?
Yeah, it's
a weird argument. Let's see how it pans out for him.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind him just a tad. That's probably too far, but...
And didn't really like fascist, hyper-militaristic ideologies for obvious reasons. So he proceeded to subvert our expectations. Not with medieval anti-air railguns firing tungsten rounds at Mach 5, but by turning the Terran Federation, the Starship Troopers, into a satire of jingoism and fascism. While the book depicts the Terran Federation's campaign against the bugs as a heroic struggle, the movie portrays it as a hopeless war started on false pretenses, fought by a bunch of propaganda-addled macho idiots marching into certain death, where instead of heroic acts, glorious sacrifices, and cinematic last stands, you just get torn apart by giant bugs. I mean, the whole reason for
it has all those things.
I was about to say, it has literally all those things.
It has heroic last stands, and these people are fighting because, you know, Rico, literally, his parents got killed by the bugs.
His entire family's dead.
Yeah.
Everything he knows is dead.
Yeah, so... They're sure they're macho, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, they have fucking co-ed showers, so...
Yeah. Also, if it's true that the director tried to make it a satire...
Yeah, he tried to make him unlikable by making him likable.
He tried to make it. He tried to make a satire of fascism, but at the end of the day, that's not what the movie shows.
Yeah.
So, because there's multiple ways to judge a piece of art, and one of the ways is to judge by how much the artist accomplished their goals. And in that regard, the director failed hard.
Yeah.
Because he tried to make a parody of fascism, and he didn't.
In like a cooking sense, it'd be like if you went to make a cake and you came out with like gummy bears or something, you know?
Yeah. It's just. I mean, this is good, but why? How did this happen?
It's like, I mean, I like gummy bears, but I don't really think this is cake, though. Just like, you know, you can make fucking anti-fascist shit, and
Wait a
could
second.
be very good.
In the corner of his screen, there's a logo. I think that's one of the clip channels.
Probably.
Yeah, so you just watch clips of fucking Starship Troopers. You fucking narwhal.
Supposedly, Bugs pulled the Javier Milei and destroyed Buenos Aires by launching an asteroid from a different solar system towards Earth. If anyone is getting Iraq War, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction vibes, yeah, you should.
What?
Why? They literally shot the meteor through a wormhole. The wormhole shot the meteor to Earth.
Yeah.
That's how the bugs travel.
They travel via, like, spores and shit attached to meteors. It says that in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
That's how our weird super space fleet works in the future too in this series. They also use wormholes.
Just, this is vaguely like a thing that happened fucking what, like 10 years later?
I got news for you, bud. This is vaguely like the Epic of Gilgamesh.
You know, there's conflict that happens, there's heroes, there are villains. Really, it's just the Epic of Gilgamesh again.
Yeah. It's not about the heroes or the villains. It's about the journey.
Fucking.
I can't wait till he starts telling us how the bugs are actually the good guys.
I have no idea if he will, but I won't be surprised because a lot of this particular group of people tend to sympathize for whatever reason with bad guys. Let's talk about how this is like 9/11.
The Bugs' home system is tens of thousands of light years away. Even if they somehow managed to precisely hit Earth from such a distance, the asteroid would have taken millions of years to get there.
But it didn't.
They used a wormhole.
They used a wormhole, which they know how to do.
That's how they get around the galaxy.
Yeah,
How did they conquer half of space when it would take 1 million years to take a planet when they would all starve to death after they ate all the resources on the planet? Because all the planets they take over become deserts. Because they eat everything.
Yeah,
They're
it's
swarm.
This is less than intelligent, sub 100 IQ. Let's see how much further get down it goes.
So no, the Bugs could not have done it. The whole asteroid business also begs the question, if the Bugs can pull that off, why don't they keep doing it once humans attack them? Because it's all bullshit.
They literally didn't know where Earth was, probably because the brain bug incident happens on Clondathu, or around the surrounding systems, where the brain bug starts eating people and it learns everything out of the brains it eats.
Yeah.
So they probably just didn't know where Earth was or how to like do that.
Also, the only reason that meteor hit is because we were blindsided. Once it hit, I'm sure the Space Defense Force was like, oh, hey, we gotta blow up meteors. The only reason they don't know it's coming is because it takes off the bridge of the ship.
Mm-hmm. They also don't construct that the ring system to stop the meteors until after the Buenos Aires was destroyed. And the movie shows you more meteors coming.
Well, yeah.
And so they didn't stop attacking.
I actually don't remember if it shows more meteors or not, but
it shows them blow up one meteor, so it's assumedly more than one meteor has happened.
Is it in one of the news reports?
Yeah, it's in one of the news reports. It shows the giant ring around the moon shoot a fucking
missile and it blows it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't stop attacking. They kept going. They just didn't know where Earth was at first. Like, fuck me. I haven't watched the movie in like 5 or 6 years, and I remember that.
I haven't watched it in longer than that.
Asteroid was an accident at best and a false flag operation at worst that got blamed on the Bugs to keep the war machine and thus the military industrial.
It's literally
but they were
though.
already at war with separatists. It's what they were training for.
Also, the Bugs are the ones who sent the meteor. Like, I know this. It's a fan theory that they didn't send the meteor, but that's all that is. Fan cope, because the fucking Bugs did.
Yeah, it's a strange argument.
Remember when the peaceful Mormons landed on some planet and the Federation told them we think there might be bugs there, and then the bugs just came out. Yeah, the bugs just came out and ate everyone. Didn't even give them a chance. It's because the bugs are actually just fucking crazy insects that we can't really communicate with in that way. They're evil for all intents and purposes.
Even if you want to argue that they're not evil, they're just animals. Okay, yeah, but you don't want tigers walking around your neighborhood.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in a galactic sense, our neighborhood also includes that side of space.
Yeah, no, this is incredibly silly.
complex occupied. In the end, however, all humans accomplish is getting a bunch of soldiers murdered. By the end of the movie, we see literal child soldiers deployed as the Terran Federation is running out of regular troops. And it's not like the bugs are a threat to humanity. They aren't like
They are, though.
Why would you think they're running out of troops?
We're literally an interstellar empire. We have people.
There's nothing to say that they're running out of troops. I think it's only like it's a lot of Marines that die in like the first battle where Sky Marshal, I think it's Sky Marshal Dean.
Yeah, the first Sky Marshal steps down because he fucked up. And that's something that doesn't happen in fascism, by the way.
Yeah, no, he would have kept going if it was fascist.
Yes, he was literally he stepped down or was forced to step down either way, which wouldn't happen under fascism. And it's like, a lot of troops die. Yeah, a lot of troops die on Clan Deathu, but there's nothing to say that like, oh no, we're running out of people, because I don't know if you know this. There's more than 170,000 people in just the U.S. military. And the Terran Federation is much bigger than America.
Well, yeah, it literally controls the entire Earth and the surrounding like side of the galaxy. I don't think it's obviously not 40k big, but it's big. Probably closer to like the UNSC.
Yeah, it's probably with just a guess, somewhere between a dozen and 100 systems.
Yeah. And if they can shoot meteors at you, they can kill your settlers. Yeah, they're a threat.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this to turn into a fucking Starship Troopers video, but
at least I know more about Starship Troopers, so I can actually make arguments.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of 40k, but I'm not like in-depth knowledge on it.
Yeah, it's. Is he about to say they're? Is he about to say they're not like the Zerg?
Yeah, they're not like the Zerg, is what he's about to say.
Like the Zerg, the Tyranids, actively trying to eat humanity. The bugs are on the other side of the galaxy and generally don't bother you unless you bother them first.
They do, though. Literally, the movie showed otherwise. And since you're using the movie, I'm also going to use the movie as the source. Yeah. Why do you want to cope with the bugs?
The bugs aren't evil. They just want to rip you apart and suck your brain out and eat you.
Yeah, I mean, they're not evil. They're just constantly hurling fucking meteors at your home in an effort to kill everyone. That's not evil.
You can make the argument that the wormhole thing doesn't make sense, and I could be like, sure, but that's how it's explained in the sci-fi of that setting.
Yeah.
So I hate to break it to you, but technically space travel in these terms don't make sense either.
No.
First, which humans did by settling on the Bugs' home planet. During the close...
Clan Deathu, I don't think, was the Bugs' homeworld.
Well, they only go to Clan Deathu in the first fight. They go somewhere else after that. And that's where the Wormen settled, where they got eaten, which was not Clan Deathu. Which was definitely not the Bugs' homeworld.
I don't think we see the... They might have called it the Bugs' homeworld, but I don't think, by going by the other movies, it is.
Well, I mean, there might be a brain bug on Clan Deathu, but we're not talking about 3 or a god bug, what it's called.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna rewind it a second.
It's something that brains at brains.
Oh shit. Behemoth coddle brain of brains.
The Federation is running out of regular troops, and it's not like the bugs are a threat to humanity. They aren't like the Zerg, the Tyranids, actively trying to eat humanity. The bugs are on the other side of the
galaxy. Tyranids are actively trying to eat everything.
Yeah.
Also.
Tyranids are not good people. They're not just animals. They are.
And the Zerg, their whole storyline's dumb, so it's best to just ignore it, just like most of StarCraft lore.
There you go.
They don't bother you unless you bother them first, which humans did by settling on the Bugs' home planet. During the closing scene of the Starship Troopers movie, the soldiers capture a brain bug, the bug's equivalent of a command and control vehicle, basically. In this scene, Neil Patrick Harris reads the brain bug's emotions and loudly proclaims it's afraid to the soldiers around him, after which everyone erupts in cheers and the whole scene is played off seemingly as the glorious ending of a righteous military campaign. Except it's not.
Except it is. You've captured the enemy commander. That is literally a victory. A very, very noteworthy victory in any war. in any conflict.
Yeah, no. Capturing enemy command is a pretty big deal. It's typically why you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
And the movie goes to great lengths showing you why in the 2 hours preceding this scene. First off, as I've said, it was the humans who attacked first.
It's not.
As you've said, not what happened.
Yeah, as you said, but that's not what happened.
The bugs did not start this conflict.
They did,
They
though.
were attacked based on false pretenses, and they decimated...
That's your headcanon. And for fuck's sake, people need to understand headcanon is not canon.
Yeah.
the humans for it. I mean, if the literal child soldiers by the end aren't...
Also, you keep saying child soldiers, but that guy in the middle there looks like he's like 25, so...
Yeah.
Most of these people are probably in their 18 to 20-somethings.
Yeah.
I.e., like most militaries.
If you fucking want to show a child soldier, you could be disingenuous and show the kids stomping on the cockroaches in the news clip.
Yeah. I think he might be self-aware enough to know that probably wouldn't have slid, but that would have been funnier.
It would have been funnier. At least then he could be like, the whole video is a joke, man. Don't take it seriously. And then be like, well, why did...
I'm just pretending to be retarded. Why are you getting mad?
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Hundreds of thousands of human deaths for no reason. That end scene...
I mean,
it is
to take territory.
To take territory and defeat the enemy in the war.
The same thing that we send hundreds of thousands to their death for in modern times. Even though now we just send our people there to die, then don't take anything.
Yeah, now it's just a waste of... Now it's just because of the elites are bored, but, you know.
Yeah. You could make that argument about modern wars, I guess.
Yeah,
there's like the rumor that we took a whole bunch of oil from Iraq, but as far as I understand, we actually didn't.
As far as I've also seen, it's been a whole lot of no, we didn't. But yeah, no, this. So far, I don't really think he said anything correct about Starship Troopers. So this has been.
He said the name.
He said the name. That's true. He said the year came out.
He said those two things right.
This is. I wasn't expecting this, but maybe I should have. But fascinating.
The brain bug is basically one massive cope by the Terran Federation. The director even added a nice little touch. When the bug starts jittering out of fear, the soldiers quickly back away from it. This is not a victory. You captured what is basically a single command and control vehicle at the end of your campaign that cost the lives of hundreds of thousands of soldiers. It's like when the other Federation, the Russian one, exhibits a captured Abrams on Red Square.
Okay. This is not
Yeah, we're just gonna skip over this. This is nothing like that.
So when the Russians did this, they had a broken tank. Cool. The brain bug is a commander. It'd be like capturing Putin, or one of Putin's circle.
It'd be like capturing Kim Jong-un or something like.
Yeah.
He's like basically a proxy dictator who's basically only there because bigger powers let him be there.
Yeah,
it'd be closer to capturing him. Because that's effectively what the brain bug is. He controls the bugs on that planet. Which means capturing him means you can effectively kill all the bugs on that planet.
Yeah, I don't... What the fuck is this channel's name? Adam something? Adam, you're a fucking idiot for even bringing this up. This is retarded.
Maybe lay off real world politics when you're trying to review
Starship Troopers and Warhammer.
Damn stuff, yeah. These things have nothing to do with like Russia's war with Ukraine or any of that. It's weird.
Yeah, no, this is just strange. I wasn't expecting this, but here we are.
Yeah, no, I was not either.
Yeah, you got that one, congrats, but you also lost more than 18,000 pieces of heavy equipment in Ukraine, and it's just the visually confirmed losses, not to mention your casualties. Anyway, the Starship Troopers move...
Okay, well, we all know Russia sucks, so thank you for confirming.
Congratulations, you figured out Russia fucking has always been dog shit.
Their main strategy has always been retreat further into Russia and burn the fields on the way.
Because they can't fight because they haven't updated the military doctrine since 1915.
All you want, but nobody ever brings winter clothes.
Yeah, that's true. MacArthur and Patton had a good idea, but literally no one wants to listen to them because they were smart. But I'm not gonna. We're not gonna get into that.
movie is very clear about it being a satire. The discourse that erupted around it, however, was truly mind-boggling. On one side, you had people with the reasonable take. Everything that happened to humans is basically their fault.
Response, that dog-brained thread about Starship Troopers, I'll just share my favorite detail about the movie, which is that it's made clear in a subtle but unmistakable way that humanity is badly losing the bug war, conscripting literal children by the end of it. It's a genius movie that confounds babies on both sides because it uncannily portrays the kind of movie a fascist society would make about itself. The kid signing up at the end of the movie is a real Berlin C 1945 moment. Victory is almost at hand. So I don't know if you know this. In World War I and World War II and Vietnam, even without the draft, right? People were signing up for war right out of high school. My grandpa tried to sign up for World War II, and he was 16 or 17, right? Broke his leg on the way there, but the point is you know,
Get there eventually.
yeah, people signed up for the war, you know, and that's what's happening here. You could argue, oh, they're being propagandized or patriotism or blah 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 blah, and how that's bad. It's not though. Like in the way you think it is. It's
bad in the fact that the government doesn't care about you, so you really shouldn't care about it. But yeah,
it's not they're conscripting child soldiers because they're losing. It's because that's what happens whenever a war breaks out. Generally, usually you have a sudden surge of youth.
well, yeah, you don't want 85-year-old soldiers running around. You want young soldiers who can run around for days, who you can feed once every other day and be like, all right, saving money.
Yeah. No, it's this. That is a Will Miniker. You have a very fine brain.
It has no wrinkles.
The war with the bugs was completely unnecessary, and the Terran Federation is a crazy, jingoistic fascist empire. I mean, the director put Neil Patrick Harris in a literal SS uniform. The message is very clear. Also, the brain...
That's not a literal SS uniform. You use the word literal wrong. Yeah, literal means literally. He put him in a homage, maybe you can make an argument for, but it's not a literal SS uniform. He didn't have the shoulder band. He didn't have the right colors.
He didn't have the right pins.
I know this might be heresy for this guy, but read a book.
Why would he read a book when he can watch a YouTube video about fucking history?
I saw a TikTok and it showed this guy as a Nazi in World War III.
There you go.
Brain bug scene is followed up by a propaganda video in which people gleefully torture the brain bug, so there's that too. But some disagree.
First, let's tackle a writing... Can you see this? The Isaac Young Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. First, let's tackle a writing pitfall that irks leftists to this day. If you make your characters naturally handsome, fit, and well-groomed, then it becomes increasingly difficult to properly mock them. Beauty is self-evident, and all characters in Starship Troopers are good-looking. This extends to overall Terran Federation as well. We see clean, beautiful streets. Life seems good for Rico in his polite high school. This is a far cry from the crime-ridden and drug-addicted cities we know today. Where are the homeless encampments, the ghettos? I mean, not exactly wrong. Let's see how this man talks about how we need more ghettos.
With this assessment, a lot of people legitimately did not understand how anyone could take the side of the bugs, empathize with the bugs even, when all the Terran Federation characters are attractive and the bugs are disgusting. And I mean, that's the whole point. The way you instinctively feel about the bugs is how a white supremacist feels about blacks, or
Holy shit.
Listen, man, you might be a racist.
The brain bug. You mean a black man? What?
Jesus.
This is... Wow. I wasn't that caught me off guard.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Not a connection I've ever made, but alright, yeah. I don't really see how you could make that connection, but...
I don't know, Saber. As we all know, being you often look at grotesque monsters in media and go, ah, yes, minorities.
No.
Now, is it because that's just a fucking weird thing to do?
Yes. Yes, it is. like, Rico's second in command when he becomes in charge of the Roughnecks is a black guy. After Dizzy dies,
Yeah,
because first it's a woman, then it's the sniper guy.
Yeah, no, it's definitely just a case of like.
And then he stays behind to set the nuke off in the tunnel after he gets stabbed.
I mean, the second Sky Marshal is a woman. Like,
Yeah.
This shows white people, black people. Here's a news flash for you. Johnny Rico isn't white.
Yeah.
So you're okay. I don't.
I'm not sure why you would connect. The bugs are only getting shot because they're minorities. It's like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ. What is with people of a certain political persuasion on both sides, like at the extremes of both sides, being like, yes, this represents minorities.
This is like the kind of logic that leads into like, no, I think black people are just as good as normal people.
Yeah.
What? It's like the actual fucking racism that people don't even realize they do.
Or the bigotry of low expectations, or
yeah,
it's oof.
like if I can't think what it's called, but the movie about the guy he goes with this girl to like her parents' house, and because he's a black guy, they're like, oh, so you're in college too? Did you get there through a basketball scholarship?
Yeah, that came out like what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of like nonsensical. Like obviously, it's just not a good mentality to have. You shouldn't associate black people with monsters for whatever reason.
Yeah, it turns out maybe
minorities.
Maybe
in general.
the Jews aren't actually bugs. You know?
Yeah.
Wow. I know if someone types away in the comments, you're just saying this because you're white. It's not entirely white guy.
I'm mixed.
That's fun. This is fun. Up is scoot it back just a little.
This is strange, is what this is.
I wasn't expecting the bugs are black.
The bugs, they're minorities. You got to be afraid of them. They're not beautiful like us.
The fuck?
What? What do you mean?
Adam. Oof is what I say. The big oof.
That's the whole point. The way you instinctively feel about the bugs is how a white supremacist feels about blacks, or how a Nazi feels about Jews. Revolting freaks to be crushed under their boots. Not coincidentally, this is often how Jews were depicted by Nazi propaganda.
As a spider and a spidomancer?
I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Disgusting insects to be purged from the face of Earth. The movie essentially challenges you to take the side of the group you were conditioned to hate. And oh boy, did many people fail this test.
No.
Fail the test? I'm telling you, he brought out gummy bears. Gummy bears are still good, but they're not cake.
Yeah. Yeah, he made a delicious gummy bear, but man, he said he was making a chocolate cake, and it's just not that.
This is so bizarre.
Bad faith. Also, for your Warhammer video, you've spent fucking the last 6.5 minutes talking about Starship Troopers. That's only 20 minutes long. Jesus Christ. 22 minutes.
Also, there was a 5-minute or 2-minute ad.
Yeah. It was like a minute of preamble, a minute and a half of ads, and then 6 minutes of content. I use the term loosely.
Yeah.
The discourse essentially became an indicator of who would fall for Nazi propaganda, where all the Aryan Germans are depicted as tall, strong, and beautiful, and
how many racists do you think this guy actually believes exist? Like, how many white supremacists?
He's probably one of those people who's like, even though he's probably also some shade of white, because most people are, he'd probably be like, I'm not white, I'm whatever race.
Some form of
I
dirty
can
European.
do that too. It's just a strange argument.
Yeah, so There's a thing that came out like 7 or 8 years ago about how many active members of the Ku Klux Klan there were, and I remember people all were like, "There's thousands, there's millions of Ku Klan members." Like, guys, there's like 4,000 across the planet, and most of them are probably FBI agents because that was also a thing that came out because they were trying to infiltrate it.
So maybe they just want to be Grand Wizards.
I mean, to be fair, it's a cool title, but most people aren't actually racist. Most people aren't racist. There's not actually that many white supremacists out there.
Supposed subhumans as revolting freaks. With that, Starship Troopers gave us a very important revelation about the importance of aesthetics. If an otherwise horrible faction is depicted as badass and handsome in an IP, some people will start idolizing them and co-opt their visuals, no matter how monstrous the faction is or how much satire you heap on. And this brings us to Warhammer 40k. Let's consider its opening paragraphs. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods and the master of a million worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. Vast armies give battle in his name on uncounted worlds, but for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat from aliens, heretics, mutants, and worse. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim dark future there is only war. There is no peace among the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter, and the laughter of thirsting gods.
Okay, so that's telling you the tone.
Yeah, that's a tone setter. It's like the Goblin Slayer scene. I won't get into what the scene was, but like one of the early scenes in Goblin Slayer, everybody just kind of assumed that that's what the series was about. I'm like, no, it's a tone setter to let you know that bad shit happens when you lose to monsters.
Yeah. Also, he skipped like a whole half a paragraph there, but yeah, no, this is a tone setter. This isn't. I'm not sure what he thinks what he's about to say this is, but I'm sure it's about to be wrong, judging by literally the last 10.5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, God forbid a tone setter be a tone setter or not, something you take super literal.
The 40k universe is a rough place. It's basically war and suffering turned up to a ridiculous level, and it kinda works. Warhammer 40k manages to straddle the line between epic and silly, nailing the perfect ratio of the two. And this works really well for the board game. You both bring out your armies you spent 200 plus hours painting, one of you fields chaos.
That's funny that you think people, everyone paints. I wish they did.
You get a lot of the gray legions.
Yeah.
Marines, the other Astra Militarum, and you duke it out in this silly but epic
Also,
setting.
it's not showing his armies here. He's showing other channels' armies.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't have any. Because he probably his first introduction to Warhammer was probably on Twitter, and it was probably about Space Marine or Space Marine 2.
Yeah, it's what happens when you watch shorts and you don't actually look into stuff yourself.
Yeah, so I said it before, and I'll say it again. YouTube lore channels are not where you should go to find out stuff about Warhammer, because most of your lore channels are full of shit, and they get all their information from each other and the wiki. But because they're all just recording off of each other, even the shit information from the wiki gets twisted to be an even further generation of shit. Read a book.
Having lots of fun in the process. This over-the-top horrifying universe is a great niche for tabletop games played by nerds, including yours truly. But what if you want to make a universally appealing AAA video game? How?
You said it in that setting.
You said in that
Not
setting. Yeah. Also, the reason why. The
reason it got popular enough to get to AAA status is because of what it is.
Yeah.
Changing it because now it's popular is a very dumb idea. It's why so many genres and IPs nowadays just suck. Because they want to change it from what it was to something new. Make something new. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and it's also like.
I mean, it is hard, but
it is just not as hard. Not some people would make you think that it's a Sisyphus or a Herculean task, and it's not. It's hard, but it's not like an impossible task. Also, the main reason that the setting of Warhammer is the way it is because when the creators of Warhammer made it, they needed an excuse for every army to be able to fight each other and itself. So, like, just a little nugget of information there. I'm sure that'll come up later.
How do you implement this idea that everything in the grimdark future is horrible, these soldiers are brainwashed drones dying for nothing, and that the wars you fight are completely hopeless, and all of you are essentially doomed? How do you make an enjoyable AAA game around these ideas?
Well, armies do lose in 40k.
Armies do lose. Also,
It's
Gears of
they get
War.
wiped out completely.
Gears of War was a hopeless war until the last fucking 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a really loved IP and really loved trilogy of games. Halo, also losing war. That was also a really popular IP until recent events. But ignoring that,
I wonder what this guy thinks would happen if the Imperium was like, you know what, violence is wrong. Every other faction would just kill him.
Yeah, no, every other faction's Warhammer. Every faction is evil.
Yeah, like, do you think the orcs are going to be like, oh, they don't want to fight anymore? Well, we'll just leave them alone. No,
Yeah,
they just shoot them anyway. They just be bored about it.
yeah. The Eldar would just use us for whatever weird purposes they need to use us for, to make sure they don't die, which is what they already do.
Try to indoctrinate us into the Tau, then have us fight anyway.
Yeah, it's
What do you think happens if humanity doesn't fight back? The Tyranids eat us. Chaos turns you into weird demons and does horrible things to you. Like, there's... Sure, you can make the argument that maybe fighting back is wrong somehow. I don't really know how you try to pull that off, but at the end of the day, like, if you don't fight back...
you'd lose. Yeah. And when you lose in this setting, you don't just die, you suffer a fate worse than death. Strange. I'm gonna...
Like, I don't know if this guy knows anything about it, but he could look up, like, some of the weird shit the Dark Eldar do to people, or some of the weird shit that, like, Nurgle does to people.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to live the rest of your life being a chair and then feel everything as you're constantly screaming in torment, but you don't have a mouth, so you can't die. You're just fed nutrition tubes into your body, so you're just stuck as a fucking chair. Something that happens. Rewinding it a bit.
Horrible, these soldiers are brainwashed drones dying for nothing, and that the wars you fight are completely hopeless, and all of you are essentially doomed. How do you make an enjoyable AAA game around these ideas? Games Workshop thought long and hard, and decided that they'll just kind of forget about most of the grimdark stuff. These Space Marine games, while containing hints of the absurdity of the Imperium, are for the most part made to make the player feel like a cool, epic, badass war hero soldier mowing down thousands of enemies without breaking a sweat. And with
Yes, they made a video game where he plays a Space Marine.
Yeah,
and they called it Space Marine.
You know what would happen if they made a video game where all you do is instantly get murdered by Tyranids? It wouldn't have sold well.
It's what we would call a bad idea. And Dr. Grant says it's one of those.
You know what Starfield did to be realistic? They made space boring.
Yeah.
So, like, what the fuck is this guy gonna... What's his point?
I'm curious.
With that, Games Workshop has made the biggest mistake possible when it comes to depicting fascists.
They're not fascist.
They're not fascists.
Nothing.
If anything, you could say they're like zealots would be a better word than fascist. Because fascist is not what they are.
Yeah, they're not a form of socialism, man.
Yeah, they are zealots. What they do, they believe they're doing for basically a religious purpose.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
They don't care if they die for the God Emperor because, like, they think that's the right thing to do effectively.
Yeah, and it's the long-held belief for by pretty much everyone in the Imperium, except for, like, the highest-ranking members, is if you die believing for the Emperor, you go to heaven. So, obviously, you need to do that.
And the Emperor doesn't even like churches, so the fact that he's turned into a god is something that actually is kind of like a spit in his face.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a grim, dark setting.
Yeah, it's a grim, dark setting. Shit's bad for everybody.
Yeah, this isn't hard to figure out, man.
Footage of his playthrough of Space Marine 2?
No.
Neither do I.
They made them appear cool and badass.
They are cool and badass.
Space Marines are fascist.
They aren't, though.
No, they're not. Fascist people do not live in a single room with a bed.
Mussolini.
You see Titus's room.
Yeah, Mussolini showed us what fascism is because, well, he wrote the fucking book on it.
Yeah.
And last time I checked, Captain Titus and Mussolini don't really have a lot in common.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah, they both have hair. I guess there's that.
They're turbo space Nazis who will turn you into minced meat if you say something they deem heretical. Atrocities, purges, and genocides are just part
That's
for the course.
zealotry, you idiot.
Yeah, that's zealotry, not fucking.
Unless you want to try to make an argument that they're zealous space fascist, which should be a strange argument, which is not what you're making the argument for, but.
Well, he wants to use fancy words like jingoist, so, like, he should be, if he wants to make that argument, he should be calling them theological, fascism, but...
Yeah, that would make more sense, like a theological fascist.
But that's not what he said. And even then, that'd be wrong.
I don't even think churches and, like, fascism go together, really.
No, they don't. If my memory of religion is... Or my memory is correct on it, Adolf sided with the church at first, but he was slowly trying to wean the people off of it because people need a church in order to function. Especially in that time. Less so now.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Mussolini was the same way. Stalin, who was a socialist rather than a fascist, which is pretty close, a lot closer than a lot of people want to admit. He hated the church. So, you know, they don't go together.
Yeah.
At best, they can coexist side by side, but they do not complement.
Yeah, because, like, think of, like, the Crusaders in history. I wouldn't really call them fascists. At least I don't think they were.
No.
But, like, I feel like you'd want to associate closer to something like the Vatican's armies, if you wanted to try and make an argument of, like, what they compare to historically.
This person probably doesn't even know the Vatican has a fucking army.
I don't think they do anymore.
I think they
I think after they excommunicated the Templars, they didn't have
No,
an army anymore.
I think they technically have.
They have
like,
a defense force, but they don't have an army.
Yeah, okay, I guess that's probably the better wording.
At least I don't think they have an army.
For them. If your service to the Imperium means mowing down 10,000 civilians because there might be heretics among them, so be it. You're murdering women and children.
So here's what happens. One, the Imperium doesn't need to care about manpower. They have enough of it. You have cities with 14 billion people in them. Killing 1,000 people doesn't mean jack shit. Killing 10,000 people doesn't mean jack shit. But another thing, so we'll go with a gene stealer, right? A gene stealer infestation. You suspect one person has the gene stealer shit with them. That quickly spreads, and within about 10 or 20 years, they can pretty much spread across a continent. It's better to just kill all 10,000 people in the immediate area and be done with it. Same with Cass. Cass corrupts, and it spreads. Weirdly. So, like, you would just kill, 10,000 people. But also, you're not sending a fucking Space Marine to do this piddly shit. You'd be sending Guard.
Yeah, no. Space Marine are more important.
Yeah, you're not wasting
Also,
this shit.
it's important to remember there's only like 1 million Space Marines in the entire Empire.
Yeah, there's 1,000 chapters of 1,000 Marines. It's not a lot. I know people like to think it's a lot, but it's not. Is he gonna bring up killing Eldar children? Is that a bad thing now?
Heretical. Atrocities, purges, and genocides are just par for the course for them. If your service to the Imperium means mowing down 10,000 civilians because there might be heretics among them, so be it. You're murdering women and children without any second thought or remorse because you are a mindless drone bred for combat, and that's just what it's like to live under the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. If you doubt
Okay.
me, I invite you to check out the episode in The Garden of Ghosts from the Hammer and Bolter.
Those aren't humans, you stupid bitch. Those are Eldar. The Imperium is trying to make them extinct. And the Eldar are trying to make humans extinct.
Yeah, the two factions don't like each other.
Yeah, no shit. What, you think if you drop your super soldiers into a fucking a city that you're gonna be able to be like, hey, don't shoot children, only kill the combatants? No, that's not how that works.
Well, yeah, they don't want to they don't want to integrate them.
No.
They want them gone. It'd be a really bad idea to integrate Eldar anyway, because if they're super long lifespans, they would be able to rise to the ranks eventually and get to the top echelons of everything.
Yeah, and then they just control it for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Also, they're all at least a little, enough of them are psychers that it's a problem because of how psychic powers work. Yeah, no. In the Garden of Ghost, while probably it's not the W he thinks it is. Because I watched that one. It's a bad idea.
Series, where we are treated to a scene of a purged Forge world. No, wait, that's the Adeptus Mechanicus thing. All right, Craft world.
Wow, what a joke! 10 out of 10, knee slapper.
That's a giant space habitat, basically, where the Eldari, the space elves.
Yeah, this is how I know he didn't know about Warhammer for shit, is because he's calling him Eldari, which is the 8th edition onward copyright friendly name, instead of Eldar, which is their correct name. Fucking poser.
Doesn't sound too different either way to me. I think they could be worked in either ways.
It can. It's just
Like
it's like when someone calls the Imperial Guard the Astra Militarum. They're the Imperial Guard, man. It sounds cooler.
Fair enough.
Live, home to millions at minimum. Well, the noble Ultramarines massacred the entire Forge world, murdering untold thousands of men with...
Also, when you're recording these things, and you're editing them, you could re-record that line. Just saying.
Women and children, because they were Xenos, therefore degenerate, therefore worthy of death. Shout out to Purity Seal for this lore tip, by the way.
Yeah, so you got your information from a fucking lore channel. Okay. I don't know anything about Purity Seal. He might be fine. He's probably not. Yeah, so, no shit. The Imperium, which is xenocidal, killed the Xeno children because Xenos grow up to kill humans.
Yeah, it's not like they have like Eldar camps that they can send them to, you know?
Yeah.
Camps would be pretty bad for the Xenos sent to them, so they just kill them. It's easier. They can torture the humans because the Imperium doesn't really give a fuck about individuals either.
No.
You can find his channel under @ThePuritySeal. In popular first-person shooters, however, such things cannot be depicted because your game would be banned worldwide.
Aren't you literally... Isn't this literally the mission?
Yeah, this is literally the mission that I remember playing through when it came out. So, I don't know, it wasn't banned. It gives you a disclaimer that says you can skip the level if you want. You just walk through the airport and shoot a bunch of people and then fight cops. And then get betrayed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first time a game did something like this, but it was designed to basically be a shock thing to help get sales, which it worked. Most people really like Modern Warfare 2. It's like that and Black Ops, which people consider the best ones.
Yeah, no, this is definitely just
strange argument he's making here.
Now I'm not sure about this one,
Chief.
Chief.
Australia.
Australia bans fucking everything.
They banned RimWorld, so what do they know?
I think they banned Mortal Kombat.
Probably.
A Warhammer 40k shooter game true to the lore would be a war crime simulator.
No.
No, you'd probably true to the lore, it would probably be Space Marine or Dark Tide or Imperium fighting whatever, or Imperial Guard fighting whatever the fuck.
It'd be one of those two games, but it'd just be like, oh hey, you die a lot easier.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be just getting knocked down in Dark Tide. You just die once you get hit once.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what his argument is making, because obviously there's a reason why there's a separation between lore and gameplay, like even with Alien Isolation, because obviously, but the whole saying of like if a lore accurate game would have to be a war crime simulator, and that wouldn't sell. It would.
It would sell. I mean, fucking there's. Was it Postal? Was one of the big like war crime simulator kind of games?
Postal, Hatred.
Yeah, there's all kinds of these shitty games that are out there where you basically just play a bad guy and just kill people for no reason. So, I mean, they sell. They don't sell good, thankfully, but they do sell.
I'm struggling to understand what fucking point he's making.
Well, he's trying to say that if you if Warhammer was true to lore, all you would do is war crimes. And I'm like, no, you would do missions.
You would do campaign battles and
like if it was Space Marine, you probably would go on more than just 3 planets. You'd be good sent all around the galaxy because that's what they do. You'd also probably have to do some political shit in training because that's also what they do. Sure, occasionally you get the mission that doesn't feel too good, but I mean, as you're showing with that clip of the game, sometimes that happens in other games too.
yeah, this is seems like he doesn't know the target audience. Or doesn't know what particularly what he's showing on screen and what he's talking about. But
I think he's trying to make a joke, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No rushing.
And it would just be weird playing as a psychotic, murderous maniac committing crimes against humanity for 8 hours without any self-awareness or remorse. Actually, that sounds like super fun and— wait, I'm sorry, this video is for people 13 and above. Who let these children in here? But I love playing as an unrepentant murderous psycho. Yeah, try playing Mass Effect as a renegade.
You played Mass Effect.
I played Mass Effect as Paragon, but I also played through as a renegade. I think Renegade was almost as much as Paragon as far as like its player accounts on the first playthrough. I know Paragon had more players.
Yeah.
Don't believe me? Apparently, according to Mass Effect player stats, 92% of players played as Paragon and only 8% as Renegade. Most people just don't want to be an asshole, not even in video games. But even if a Warhammer shooter was true to form and the player was made to feel like a disposable cog in a purposeless murder machine tasked with the occasional genocide, there are people who would love that and would
This
absolutely
guy
play
loves
that.
to just add words that he doesn't need to stuff.
Yeah, so what you're showing on screen is very
very
different from what he's trying to say, because like I think he's trying to bring up like, oh, if people wouldn't like it if you were playing as a guardsman and you had to execute a bunch of human civilians, but then he's showing fucking Space Marines killing Eldar warriors.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of games where people kill lots of people and nobody really cares.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel bad about the bandits in Skyrim?
Do you feel bad about playing Lubu in Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah.
Like, the fuck?
That game, I get that. But if you're making a game, you want to appeal to the widest audience possible, not
No, you don't.
No, you don't. Not at all.
You want to appeal to the people who will buy the game.
Yeah. You want to know your
The
audience.
widest audience possible just means
That's how you get Mass Effect
the game
Andromeda.
probably won't sell well, and then people will review it, and then it'll get reviewed poorly because it tries to appeal to too many people, and it has none of what people want in it. Why did Veilguard suck? Because it had no direction.
Look at Mass Effect Andromeda.
Why did Mass Effect Andromeda suck? Because it fucking had no direction. You could say it was the woke shit all you want to, but it was more that the game sucked. The stories were stupid.
Yeah, no, this is... coping? Would that be the right word?
This is idiotic.
Yeah.
Continue.
just to people on terror watch lists. In Space Marine 2, the latest Warhammer 40k game ended up doing the former, choosing appeal over what I would call honesty about its universe. You're not a mindless, psychotic drone killing in the name of a doomed fascist empire, but a noble, heroic warrior protecting your home from freaks and degenerates.
You're protecting that world's inhabitants from Tyranids.
Yeah.
Which is something they do. They don't go to every world and off all the civilians because guess what? They need the civilians to run their shit.
Yeah, it's
like if you want to make this argument, you could sort of make this argument about the fucking Night Lords, since they like to skin people for no reason. Even their own people.
He's talking about fucking Ultramarines because I doubt he knows what the Night Lords even are.
I mean, you could make an argument about how Blood Angels go berserk, you know. So there's that. Like, sure, these are some cherry-picked cases in this. It's weird to make this argument for Ultramarines, which are generally seen as they're not, but they're generally seen as the good guys in 40k.
Yeah,
They're probably one of the gooder boys in the army.
they're considerably more sane. And not to be like, oh, Space Marines are just generally insane. I mean, in a fun way. So yeah, an ultra Space Marines aren't just brainwashed retards who just do whatever they're told. They are technically still human. They're post-human, but they're still human, so they have their own thoughts. Just most of them are... They understand the situation better than most people. That who gives a shit about killing like 10 civilians? Like, oh no, some civilians will get caught in the crossfire. Who gives a shit? We're trying to kill the enemy before they get to us.
Yeah, you got it, because 40k, it's really not about the individual; it's about the collective.
Yeah, they're working to save humanity and the Imperium, not Greg.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, some of the Space Marine chapters are perfectly willing to screw themselves over if it means victory.
Oh yeah,
Like, oh hey, yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this war. Virus bomb the planet. Our soldiers are still down there. They'll die for a good cause then.
yeah. They'll exterminate their own fucking home. You know, Gabriel Angelos exterminates his own homeworld to because of the growing caste corruption.
Yeah, like the homeworld for the Krieg, like that world's fucked up real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the surface is an irradiated wasteland.
Yep.
And then underground is just a bunch of cloning facilities, so they're weird.
They are weird, but the whole point is picking Ultramarines to be like they're mindless drones, and it's like they're not though. Space Marines aren't mindless.
I mean, Gilliman, when he came back, he was like, "Hey, Cato Sicarius, you need to fucking learn art."
Yeah. Came back.
He's like, I'm good at war stuff, though. He's like, yeah, well, go read a book.
Go read a book. You're more than just a fucking robot to kill shit.
Yeah, so like I said, it's a weird flex to be like the Space Marines are evil. It's like, well, you might not like what they're doing, but there's a lot of things that have to happen in real life that people don't like killing cows. I want beef, but I don't necessarily like the cow dying.
Yeah.
But I don't want to stop eating beef. You know, it's obviously not exactly the same, but
I mean, one cow death, 10,000 civilians. I think it's pretty hand in hand.
I forget what the super cows are called in this.
Oh, the Groks.
Yeah, the Groks. That's it. They're like big lizards, cows.
Lizard cows. They're perfect. Their design is without flaw.
Overt satire is basically gone.
There is no overt satire. Warhammer hasn't been a fucking satire or parody or anything in 40 years.
Yeah.
Rogue Trader is not Warhammer. People keep saying it is, but it's not.
This one's from Game Clips.
Yeah. Well, that's because this idiot is just getting all of his information off of fucking YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Because it had to be. There are allusions to the Imperium being bad, but not nearly overt enough. A Warhammer 40k.
So, if they're not overt enough,
does it need to be?
So like, is it just not overt enough for you? Because for everyone I've talked to who's played the fucking game, oh yeah, it shows how the Imperium's pretty fucking evil.
Yeah, just play Dark Tide.
Just play Dark Tide.
Look what the people have to work in.
Yeah, no, it's
like,
because
they live in a factory and they literally have a cot behind a staircase with you got like 10 people living.
Yeah. So just because you're a very special individual who can't, it's not overt enough for you does not mean it's not overt enough for everyone. Like, what the fuck?
This is stupid.
This is like people who are like, I don't need the yellow paint to show me where to go in games, but then they don't know where to go, so then they complain about not knowing where to go.
Yeah. The yellow paint's stupid. It shouldn't be in games. Play a game without yellow paint. I don't know where to go. This game has no direction.
Yeah. Even though there's always a fucking clear path of where to go. Or in most games. So, like, it's not hard. People are just fucking stupid.
I still think most games should probably just have the option to turn off the yellow.
I agree. But it's similar, not quite the same, but similar to his nonsense about overt, it's not overt enough.
A true to form would be like a version of Modern Warfare where every second mission is no Russian, only even more bloody and deranged. But if anyone released a game like that...
That wouldn't be the whole game, because you don't win a fucking campaign up for, a planet by killing a bunch of civilians for no reason. You win it by killing the enemy.
I don't even understand this guy's logic. Space Marines go to the planet and they just massacre all the civilians and then leave.
Yeah, they're kind of doing vastly more important shit than that.
Like, what do you think happens? They come to the planet, they kill all the civilians, and they go, all right, now our factories will keep running.
Yeah, no, they go. Space Marines are a spearhead. They are meant to go to very precise locations, kill shit, beat the enemy and whatever, and then then afterwards, if they're sticking around,
Also,
they might kill cleanup, but usually not.
Like, look at some of the shit Chaos does to stuff once they influence it. Like, yeah, sure, if they have to kill a bunch of civilians because they think they're corrupted by Chaos, if you think about it in the long term, they're probably saving a lot more lives, even though they're killing a few innocent ones in the process.
Yeah,
like I said, there's only 1 million of them in the galaxy. They got places to be.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, but they could stop the Chaos corruption. You can't. Very few things can stop Chaos corruption in Warhammer. It's pretty much a death knell. Oh my god, this video's special.
Most countries wouldn't even let them publish it. Keep in mind, by the way, that I do like Space Marine 2, and I do think it's a good game. Just before anyone will start yelling at me how the game isn't bad, actually. I agree, it's a good game, it's cool and epic, and I like it. But there are overarching issues with it, which we're currently discussing. Now,
You're not really discussing them, though. You're just kind of saying
really
it's not
about the game at all. You're saying the narrative isn't stupid-proof enough.
Yeah. Which, if I talk to 10 people who've beaten the game, and 9 of them are able to tell me that, no, the Imperium is shown in all of its glory of what it is, and you're the only one who says it's not, that kind of means you're the idiot here, man. Oof.
The reason why the Warhammer 40k books and tabletop games are allowed to get away with containing atrocities while video games aren't is because in the game you would get to act out said atrocities. At the very least, we would get vivid depictions of them. You don't.
Mortal Kombat's a
World, you weirdo.
Mortal Kombat's a bestseller.
Super popular game that has. Yeah, Mortal Kombat's a bestseller.
You rip people's insides out of them, and then you rip their arms off, or you rip them in half crotch first. Those are atrocities. No one gives a shit because it's a video game. Most people are
down a guy's throat. Yeah,
most people are smart enough to understand that a video game is not real. Just like most people are smart enough to understand a book is not real, or a tabletop game is not real. A movie is not real. Holy shit. Why?
Don't just read about, say, Space Marines murdering 10,000 women and children.
Also, and
do you think find me the fucking book where that's all that happens, man?
Yeah, because
these books is only killing children.
None of them. I don't know about Double Eagle, but Horus Rising is mostly about the fall of Horus, or leading into the beginning of Horus Heresy. Fulgrim is about the fall of Fulgrim, and his corruption from a Chaos Blade. Soul Hunter is about Chaos Space Marines, and most of the book is spent with them fighting other Space Marines and dealing with their own inner warband political bullshit. Cyphus Cain is more of a comedy than anything. Ravenor and Eisenhorn both. I mean, they kill. I think civilians die in them, but that's not their whole point. Betrayer is a book from the perspective of Lorgar and Angron, so a bunch of civilians die because, shocker, they're evil. But they are also, most of the book is spent fighting Ultramarines. And then Hell's Reach is the fall of a city by orcs from the viewpoint of Black Templars and a couple guardsmen.
So, yeah.
Do civilians die in these books? Yes. Is that all that happens in these books? No. Not even close.
Civilians die in Superman, guy, so try a little harder.
Yeah.
Or you don't just play with miniatures of a Space Marine faction, which according to the lore once murdered 10,000 women and children. Nope, this is an interactive video game where you are a Space Marine and...
That's a bad Photoshop. Or is that AI art? Because the head is all fucked up with the neck. And the chest is backwards. Whatever.
Your next mission is to purge a civilian slum of 10,000 where the presence of heretics is suspected. Here's your chainsword and plasma incinerator. Good luck.
Why would you send Space Marines to do that? You would just bomb them from space.
Yeah, you would just bomb it, or you would just send guardsmen in to do sweeping, or do sweeps. You wouldn't waste a Space Marine doing this. Very rarely does a Space Marine get involved in this
he
level.
He apparently played Space Marine 2. He knows how strong a Space Marine is. Especially the new Primaris ones.
Yeah.
Like, they got better shit to do.
They have a lot of things going on to deal with, rather than... Could you go, like, clear out 10,000 people who are hiding?
Like, you don't have Delta Force go man a checkpoint in the middle of Arizona when there's war stuff going on, you know? You send maybe regular Army or National Guard to do it, but you don't send the top end.
Yeah. No,
Green Berets don't run the lunchroom.
Yeah, no. Like, are there things with Space Marines killing civilians? Of course, but these aren't like, oh, that's all they do. It's usually part of a longer it's part of a longer problem. For instance, the Black Templars killed 1 in 3 civilians after some war, but that's because their leadership fell to chaos and they had no idea how far down it went.
Yeah,
which is extreme, but it's, you know.
Like, when you cut people open in Darktide and there's fucking maggots spilling out everywhere, like, do you think you can still save those people at this point?
Especially when they're screaming to die?
Yeah. They're screaming about the grandfather and how it hurts. Or how it itches.
Yeah.
But they're not really in control of their body anymore, so in a way, killing them is a mercy. Unless you'd want to run around with a weird tentacle growing out of your eye and maggots crawling around inside you that you could feel.
Hey man, don't knock the people in their fetishes. We live in current day.
Oh yeah, here's current day.
Did you know that it's currently the year that it is?
I did.
And then you get dropped onto the map with a counter appearing on your screen standing at 0 out of 10,000. Nobody would want to play that game, and those who even bother to try wouldn't have fun playing it if the game was
You can't say that. You have no idea if people would have fun playing that game. There's lots of people who like power fantasy games regardless of whether or not the stuff in it's morally good or bad.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
This is pure
making this up.
Making it up, and I think this, so everyone probably thinks this, which is not how that works.
Yeah, I don't understand why people played Postal. People played Postal. I don't really like racing games. People like racing games. It's fucking nonsense. You have no idea what people like and don't like.
Yeah, no.
Especially since you haven't shown any of your own stuff in this.
Yeah, this is just nonsense is what this is. Absolute high-end nonsense.
That's all word salad, and Space Marines are bad because fascism, just like Starship Troopers. Also, make sure to go to delete me, which I'm sure will come up again in a few minutes.
Oh, probably.
Illegal to distribute, even though such a game would fit perfectly.
Also, it wouldn't be illegal to distribute. Rated X games exist.
They should exist. People can play whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
It's their money. If they want to have a good time mowing down people in a shopping mall, and all they do is play that level in Call of Duty, who cares? Let them have their fun.
Here's an easy example. Spore. You remember Spore? You can get a weapon in the game that literally detonates planets. That's billions of innocent lives lost every time you do it. You can purge the fucking galaxy.
You can do that. I've played robots in Stellaris, and I fucking mechanicalize worlds or just blow worlds up so I don't have to deal with the armies.
Yeah, like there's maybe he's arguing, well, it's not a third-person game. It's like, goalpost moving aside, you know, it's killing civilians in games is not new, and it's like, sure, there hasn't been a game that I can think of off the top of my head where the goal is to kill 10,000 civilians as a super soldier. But you can't say for sure that game wouldn't sell well. Because it might.
It could. Enough of a marketing budget and it would sell well.
Yeah. All you gotta do is pay a few influencers and you can sell a lot of shit.
Into the Warhammer 40k universe. Such is life under the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable in the grimdark future. And that's just what they often do to fellow humans. Sentient, non-human civilians, even if not hostile, usually just get instantly murdered or worked to death as slaves. So Games Workshop had to take a different approach with their AAA game. For the sake of broad appeal, they had...
Did they though? Because do you deal with shitloads of citizens in Space Marine 2.
I don't think you see a single citizen.
It's almost like they're sending the Space Marines to go deal with the bigger threats, because that's what you would do.
You see some Adeptus Mechanicus and the weird sheriff things. You see a lot of guardsmen.
Yeah.
There's a part where they're executing cowards.
Yeah.
People who fled from their posts, they execute them.
Yeah, but so yeah, it's just they're showing Space Marines doing what Space Marines would do in this kind of situation, which is the fucking mission, not execute civilians.
But notice he hasn't had any art where Space Marines are just mowing down civilians.
It's because there probably doesn't exist any that he could find easily.
Like, you should have art or something that supports them doing this, because like
quotes from a
like
book.
I said, you
something.
play a strategy game, and you take over a city. Even like Civ 6, you can purge the city after you take it over.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Gandhi. I just purged all the Indians, or something. You know.
Yeah, I'm Gandhi, the true king of the Brits.
Yeah. I purged the Chinese. Like, come on, Gandhi.
Gandhi!
Why can't I shoot nukes at everybody?
Because Gandhi believes in only one path, and that's the war path.
Yeah.
To gracefully sideline the unspeakable evil and cruelty of the Imperium. You're not committing atrocities, genocides, and other war crimes. Instead,
Yeah, because that's not what your mission is, you stupid bitch.
Yeah, it'd be like if your mission was to do that, then yeah, you would do it.
Why would you... Tyranid infestations are very dangerous because they grow out of hand very quickly. You don't send Space Marines to go deal with that kind of stupid shit when you have more important shit to do.
that you're fighting an endless horde of Tyranids, insectoid space alien predators, which threaten to overwhelm everything. In contrast to the bugs in the Starship Troopers movie, Tyranids are not the victims of aggression. Their singular goal is to devour absolutely everything. They are a force of nature, basically, and there is nothing morally wrong with killing them. The other enemy faction appearing in Space Marine 2 are the Forces of Chaos, who are just evil. Once again, nothing wrong with killing them. So your character...
Are they? Do you know their lore?
He probably doesn't.
Because, you know, they might have a good reason for why they turned out the way they did.
You don't know. Yeah, no, this is absurd. Why?
Ultramarines is doing the good thing, really. He's a protagonist. He's also a brainwashed space Nazi psychopath prepared to...
He's not a space Nazi.
He's
not a National Socialist of Germany, man.
I really like the game, though, but the main character's a fucking fascist space Nazi.
He's not German.
He's not a Nazi, either.
Yeah, I know, but that's what a Nazi is. The National Socialist Workers' Party of Germany.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man.
To commit even the most heinous atrocities without a hint of doubt, should his masters commend him. But let's not portray that, because that would be a downer for the average player. Therefore, in Space Marine...
Hey, do you remember Space Marine 1 where he didn't do what his masters wanted?
Yeah, it's almost like Titus is on the far end of independent.
Yeah, no, it's almost like if he knew the storyline to the first game, none of this shit would have really worked for his argument.
I'm guessing he didn't play the first game because, like I said, I'm guessing he didn't even know Warhammer existed until within the last 3 or 4 years. Like a lot of people that have jumped into the space.
Titus is mostly portrayed as a selfless war hero instead. And I know that there is a bit more nuance to the story and the character, especially in light of the...
Most Space Marines have a martyr complex because martyrdom is seen as a virtue in the Imperium.
Yeah, also, it's a very, very disingenuous to talk how long and how evil they are, and then to be like, yeah, but there's a little bit more stuff to it than that.
Yeah. I know they all have a martyr complex, but that's because they're evil. What? Like, generally,
No.
martyr does not mean evil, so that's something you would probably need to explain.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He's just talking.
He's just rambling. Aren't you guys also rambling? Yes, but we're doing it betterly.
previous game, but that unfortunately doesn't matter. That's stuff for lore wonks, not your average player who might not even have played the previous game. The nuance is lost on them, and because of this, due to the satire taking a backseat, we have lunatic space Nazis made to look like heroes tirelessly fighting against a tidal wave of freaks that threaten to destroy their glorious civilization, which is exactly how, say, white nationalists think of themselves, isn't it?
What the fuck is this?
I don't even know what these flags are.
I've never even seen the white X flag.
I don't know what the white X flag. I don't know what the fucking runic
The
symbol.
weird one with the runic symbol with like the American flag kind of hidden in it.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this is, and so
You fascists, go fuck yourself, scum.
so one side is probably Antifa because I see Russia flags with the sickle and hammer. So that's socialism over there. Not to say that everyone on this side is not a white nationalist. I don't know what the fuck is even going on here. I've hung out with plenty of people of color who have flown a Confederate flag. It's not just exclusive to white people, Mr. Foreigner.
So the Confederacy weren't exactly the good guys, but they were more about state rights.
Yeah.
Not owning slaves. But American history might not be your thing.
Yeah. I can't really comment too much on this picture other than just the surface because I don't know what this is.
Well, here's a picture of no context of the guys I don't like being Nazis. Despite them not having a Nazi flag, but I don't know if that white flag with the X on it is a KKK flag. If it is, then fuck these guys. But
if it is, yeah, like whatever. But for all like, how many people have you seen with the they're flying the Greek flag and they're like, I support Israel or Palestine, and you're like, that's not the right flag there.
Yeah, I got somebody with that at work the other day. Oh, a couple months ago. It was funny.
So this is just an image with no context.
Yeah, here's an image of apparently white Nazis
with a Mexican or a black guy next to the runic symbol. Those damn not white supremacists and their minorities.
Those damn white supremacists and their supportive non-minorities. The Uncle Toms, if you will. Because I think that's another, it's a Mexican guy by the black flag that says worldwide.
Oh, yeah. So
I have a feeling there's some context missing to this, which is another strange thing to try and throw shade at the Space Marine game that you, for some odd reason, extremely dislike, even though you say you like it enough to not play it.
Makes perfect sense. Don't think about it.
Brave champions protecting white civilization from an onslaught of swarthy subhumans who would be...
Elon Musk also endorses the Great Replacement conspiracy theory.
Who cares about Elon Musk? He bought Twitter.
Who gives a shit about Elon Musk? If you let him live rent-free in your head, that's on you. And two, most people, the reason why the whole Great Replacement thing started was because the mainstream media was saying it's a good thing that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, whether it is or isn't, whatever.
You know how the Great Replacement theory became a popular theory? They said it on TV.
Constantly. For months or years. Shockingly, it had an effect.
You'd be surprised about how many great fucking theories of political nonsense come out because they say it on TV. JonTron did a skit on that. That was pretty funny.
I haven't watched JonTron in a while. I should watch another one. I should watch more of him. He's great.
Destroy all they've built. And since the video games have an overwhelming cultural influence compared to the books or the tabletop, the game's portrayal of...
I think the games do not make nearly as much money as the tabletop.
No, considering of...
The tabletop is all profit.
So, the tabletop makes probably the most of the money. The books, I'm pretty sure, have more reach than the games do, just because of how many of those books reach top seller list constantly.
Yeah, and like the gaming is like sort of niche.
It's a lot. It makes a lot of money, but it's a lot more niche than everyone likes to think.
Well, it makes a lot of money, but it also costs a lot of money.
Yeah, so
it doesn't cost nearly as much money to like get a sculpt of Fulgrim compared to make a model for Titus.
Yeah, so it's a whole.
Also, the scope for Fulgrim you can use for a very long time. The model of Titus you're gonna have to change up in the next game.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, keep the skeleton, I guess, but that's not really what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's assuming you're using the same engine still.
Yeah.
The games do have a cultural impact. You'd be stupid to say they don't. However, I don't think it's as far as a lot of people hope or think it is. Not because gaming is bad or gaming is dying or any of that stupid shit. It's just most people play 3 games and that's about it.
There are people who still play Dark Souls 1 and exclusively.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There gaming isn't the end all of all mediums. It's a fun one. I enjoy gaming. But there are a lot of people who don't game. There's a lot of people who don't watch movies, right?
Sure.
It's weird, but there are people who just don't entertain themselves via these kinds of mediums.
Let's see what he has to say next.
Warhammer 40k becomes dominant in popular culture, sort of like how the average person thinks of Superman as an unfeeling alien god. That's because those god-awful Snyder movies depict...
The average person does not think of Superman as the uncaring feeling god. Most people I've talked to
think of him as like an American hero.
Yeah,
guy.
he's an He's John Everyman. He's America man.
He's basically an American Zeus.
Yeah,
type figure. He's part of American mythology.
So this is something you've been able to see on the internet, but it's also been a thing in real life because I talk to people. Everyone's been wanting a not grim derp Superman for a while. People are tired of the grim derp Superman, and the grim derp Superman was only in the Snyder movies. He's not like that in the game.
The comics are a mess, but
the comics are its own mess. But he's not like that in the cartoons or the old movies, which is what people think of when they think of Superman generally. Not Snyder.
Nobody thinks of Snyder. I will agree with this guy though that Snyder movies suck.
Oh yeah, easily. Adam, you've made one good point so far.
Yes, Snyder movies do suck. Nice going, Adam.
Depicted him as such. Meanwhile, in the comics, he's this cool and friendly guy. I believe Cosmonaut Variety Hour put it best.
Unfortunately, you've quoted Cosmonaut Variety Hour, which makes me think you didn't even watch the fucking Snyder movies. Because holy shit, Cosmonaut Variety Hour is a special kind of retarded.
He's got a lot of subscribers though.
He's got a lot of subscribers, which only proves that you just need to shout like a retard in order to get fame.
And I'm paraphrasing, in the movies, Clark Kent is the mask worn by Superman, but in reality, Superman is the mask worn by Clark Kent. But due to the movie's overwhelming cultural influence over the comics, movie Superman becomes the cultural standard. Same with...
He didn't, though.
No.
Everyone for a long time has been bitching that we want happy Superman.
His dad died for no reason. There's a lot of people who hate that movie.
Yeah, that movie didn't even do well. Like, it did well because it was the first Superman movie in a while, but it didn't exactly set the box office on fire.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's giving the Snyder movies way more cultural credit than they deserve, because I don't know if you know this, but most of them are barely breaking even. They weren't making money.
There'd be a lot of people who couldn't explain what's going on in any of the Snyder stuff. A lot of it's just dumb and nonsensical.
Oh, what about the Justice League movie that they made, where the fucking the Joss Whedon came in and did reshoots to make Superman less of a miserable cunt.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, Superman's actually not being a miserable cunt. That's nice." Oh, look, color in the movie.
He was liked better in that version.
Yeah.
Although there are a lot of people who say the Snyder cut for it was better. It's like whatever.
Yeah, they're both shit.
I think the
Snyder cut's probably the Snyder cut's worse because it's longer.
Yeah, it's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
it's way too long.
An hour of that is slow mo. Yeah, the Snyder cut's definitely worse, but neither one is good.
we gotta show these guys walking up the staircase into the bank.
They're
walking up a different staircase to a higher part of the bank.
You gotta watch the Flash play with a fucking poppy seed or whatever the fuck that was for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Warhammer 40k. The ultra-popular games will be the ones dictating the IP's public perception, not the niche books or the tabletop game. Unsurprisingly, the far-right began co-opting Warhammer 40k already a few years ago.
Oh no, this is why this video was made right here.
God Emperor Trump and God Emperor Trump won the election. Okay. It's all coming around full circle.
And you gotta lay off the politics for a while, man. Trump's not gonna be able to get anything done anyway.
So this was done because it was funny, and it was done specifically to piss people off. And it worked. And then you idiots keep fucking biting, so it's easy to just redeploy it. Like, the internet's existed for a long time at this point. People should understand how trolling and baits work, right?
Yeah.
God Emperor Trump being the most obvious example. Also God Emperor Putin, go figure. Now, far
I've never seen God Emperor Putin.
No, I've never seen that either, but I don't pay attention to Russian shit, really.
It's because it's worthless.
right fans of Warhammer don't actually play the tabletop game, so you won't be meeting them in real life. Online though, Warhammer 40k...
Oh man,
Okay.
I hate to break to you, but having been to hobby shops, I can guarantee you meet every political persuasion at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because guess what? It's like when Coca-Cola freaked out that their shit was on racist or whatever commercial or ever YouTube video. It's like, well, I hate to break it to you, man, but I guarantee you racists drink Coke.
Yeah.
You're selling a product. You don't have to...
I hate to break it to you, but Hitler, fan of dogs.
Yeah.
You know? Putin, or not Putin, Stalin, he was a fan of food. He liked food. Shockingly, I know. I also thought socialists didn't need to eat, but he said otherwise.
Well, he did because he was in charge.
I know.
Everyone else got a breadline.
Yeah, so this article that he's referencing here, because I don't think he's going to go into it, basically, some guy in a Spanish tournament trolled the shit out of everyone and won because he wore the Spanish fascist party outfit to a tournament, and people were like, I refuse to play against him, so they forfeited, so he won every match. It's the greatest troll victory ever.
Why didn't you just beat him?
Right?
Like, fuck you and your fascist nonsense or whatever.
Yeah, like, who gives a shit?
Communities are often literal cancer, with people unironically parroting the fascist propaganda of the Imperium. Burn the heretics, kill the mutants, purge the unclean. It is better to die for the Emperor rather than to live for...
These don't have context to what they're talking about. They could just be quoting 40k stuff because they like it.
Yeah, these are all just quotes from 40k. Because, you know, generally, when you're in a fandom of some kind, and you're in the online spaces, you'll generally talk about said thing. For instance, Warhammer 40k, or Legend of Zelda, or Mario, or whatever. If you're talking about said thing, other people will also be talking about said thing, and sometimes it's fun to quote said things.
Yeah, like if we were talking about Zelda and I said, Dongo hates smoke, some people will know what I'm talking about.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Yeah. Press A to grab your destiny, you know? There's lots of nonsensical stuff in fandoms that if you're talking about it, people know.
Yeah, if you're looking from if you're from the outside looking in, it can look fucking weird. This isn't just Warhammer. This is literally all of them.
Yeah, no. You could get the same stuff from makeup channels where they're talking about makeup terms and shit. You'd have no idea what they mean.
Yeah. So, again, would you call this a swing and a miss?
Yeah, this is a swing and a miss.
For yourself. An open mind is like a fortress with its gates unbarred and unguarded. Killed lots of Xenos and got coin.
Yeah, he got a trophy for fucking winning a tournament or something, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like...
Yeah, he got a coin for winning a tournament, or he just bought it because he thought the coin looked cool. People collect coins, man.
Yeah, now... this is...
I have a whole bunch of Soul Calibur cards I don't know why I bothered to get, but I have them.
Yeah!
For the Emperor. Here's this image depicting an Imperium guardsman blowing himself up with an Eldari, basically a space elf, titled The Emperor Protects.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, he lost the fight. Look at his arm and leg.
Yeah, it's the whole
Hey,
martyrdom.
with me.
It's the whole martyrdom thing. Like, what? This is just how the setting is. Said there's someone made fan art of it. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. What do you think that guard's gonna do? He's like, I surrender. The Elder's gonna treat him well.
No, that's an Eldar, man. They're just gonna shoot him. At
Eldar
best.
don't treat their prisoners well.
At best, he's gonna be shot. At worst, he's gonna be tortured. Because that's not that doesn't look like a dark elf. Regardless, this isn't some I hate the term. This isn't some fucking fascist whistleblowing. Or dog whistle. It's literally just fan art. That's all it is.
That's a cool scene.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you may have cut my arm and leg off and beat me half to death, but fuck you, I win.
Yeah. This isn't complicated to figure out. So like, Adam, I hate to ask this. Do you have a learning disability?
That's rude. We can't ask that.
I know.
Moving on.
With 1.9 thousand likes, the soldier is glad to die for the Emperor and believes that he saved him.
1.9 thousand at the time recording. Go back and re-record.
Well, yeah, he's he's
By letting him die in war. He's been brainwashed that hard, and the comments next to the image are obviously.
It's okay. People think the Earth is flat. Brainwashing's not that hard.
Yeah, no, it's so again, people are quoting the setting because it's a book. It's a book and tabletop game first. So like they're quoting it because they like the thing, and somehow that equals everyone's a fascismo.
I'm gone, I'll meet the God Emperor, but you, Xeno scum, the only God you'll meet is the Dark God, or whatever that is. Gadius.
Whatever the Dark God is. Whatever. There's only fucking 4 main ones.
Yeah. They're only like the main bad guys.
Yeah. Whatever the Dark God is. Also, why do you read that wrong?
I don't know.
He read it like it was written retarded.
Because he thinks it's retarded.
Yeah.
Because he's very obviously trying to, with this whole video, he's been trying to paint it a very specific path in a very specific way, and he wants his audience to take it a very specific way.
Oh yeah, he wants them to change 40k what it is at its fundamental. It's like he wants it to be a different setting entirely, effectively.
Yeah, because he wants.
He could try to fucking straw man and be like. I think that's what all of his arguments have been, is basically straw mans. Is he's trying to say, hey, the setting's so bad and so wrong, and nobody should like it because it supports all the political persuasions I don't like, and it would just be better if it was something completely different. Although I'm not going to say it should just be something completely different, because I want to, for some odd reason, convince Warhammer fans that what I'm saying is right. It's like, well, if you don't like it, why the fuck do you care if it's not fun? For you, like, go find something you enjoy. Go play Dauntless.
No, that's impossible.
Go play Monster. Go play Burrow Trauma with your friends. Go do something.
But if I do that, how will I own the chuds and
Well, you won't, because this is a bullshit video.
Stands for Cadia. Cadia is a fortress world most famous for doing the opposite of standing, by the way. There are
no, it's not. It's famous for defending against 13 Black Crusades.
It's famous for standing for 10,000 years, man. I know people who just jumped into the fandom, although you, probably think it's only famous because it fell, but literally since, I want to say as early as 2nd edition, probably earlier, it's been Cadia is standing at the edge of the Black Crusade. You know, it stands as the main entrance and exit to the Eye of Terror. It's a giant fortress world. It's the 2nd most defended planet in the fucking Imperium.
Out of all the guard reigns that got canceled, the Cadian one is the one that they kept.
Yeah. Like, Cadia is quite popular, and it's well known for more than falling. The Cadia Falls is a very recent thing, and then the quote, the planet broke before the guard, is just a really fucking cool quote. So people say that too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the quoting and shit can also be explained by it just sounds cool.
Yeah. Like, the Guard literally fought so hard their planet died before they gave up.
Yeah, and then the Cadian survivors are flying around also not, and they still haven't given up. So it's just like, Jesus Christ, man, that's tits. The indomitable human spirit and all that, a common trope in writing. But apparently this just flew over this guy's head because apparently, according to him,
He doesn't know anything about Cadia.
He only knows Cadia F.O.I.L because that's a meme. He watched on a YouTube short or TikTok, probably both. Heathen.
There are also common image replies, most of which call for murdering someone, usually the post-author, or non-humans in general, called Xenos.
Yeah, it's the same as any kind of meme that you can use to respond to anyone with, like, fuck off, and it's a picture of an anime girl.
Or when you put the Counter-Strike source guy and you say source.
Yeah, this is just basic
I want to know what
memery.
the source is, and the game is called Source.
This is basic memery. I don't even know how to explain this.
This is just basic memery. Easiest way to explain it, I guess.
It's not just the evil, aggressive ones. No, literally everyone, including sentient Xenos and their civilians who would be otherwise neutral or even friendly.
There are no such thing in Warhammer, man.
Just kill them all.
They have some. There's like those spider guys.
Yeah, like, there's very far and few between because the main reason why the Imperium took up its whole Xenos need to we can't really trust them. We're not even gonna give them the chance. Is because during Old Night, when the Human Empire fell, most Xenos factions they had allied with at that time went around and went, oh, the big dog's down. Let's take him out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no shit.
There's a reason they don't trust Xenos. Xenos ruined it for themselves.
Yeah. You have no one to blame but yourself.
I've also seen plenty of Warhammer memes about interracial cuckoldry.
Yeah, it's called a meme. What?
Yeah, it's a meme.
It's a joke.
These are jokes.
Which is something far-right people online are
Let's see.
I think we could just skip this. This is a whole can of worms I don't want to get into.
Yeah, no, this is just very cherry-picked.
absolutely obsessed with. Don't look it up, trust me. Now, let's stop here for a moment.
Wait,
And
you're the
I'm
one
not
that
taking
posted
this a
it,
bit
weirdo.
too seriously.
And you're the one that brought it up.
Yeah. Let me bring up this thing. I'm not going to explain it. Moving on.
Yeah, cuckold and cheating is weird. Or, I think that's what he's trying to say, at least. It's like, well, yeah, it is, but people do it.
He's trying to put a racial spin on it because fascism and racist and Nazis and all that crap. It's just... He's taking internet memes as gospel. And memes are jokes. And sometimes jokes are offensive, and that's fine. Not everything needs to be child-friendly.
Pointing at obvious memes and jokes below posts and pretending they're serious? I do realize these memes and replies are jokes, but often they also aren't. Now, hold up.
What? I do realize that memes and replies are usually jokes, but what if they're not? What if they're serious? What if that guy thinks I'm an actual heretic that believes in a space change god?
What if he really is a space marine from the year 40,000?
Yeah.
What? Kind of.
Well, this is the picture I would have recommended to use to kind of explain this guy's thought processes on stuff.
This is pretty accurate, yeah. It's...
And then I would end with a picture of Toast. Let's see what he does.
What the hell do I mean by that? How can one thing be two opposite things at the same time? I personally call such memes and jokes Schrödinger's shitpost. They are both a joke and not a joke at the same time. The meme exists in an ideological superposition until someone engages with it. So suppose someone posts a far
So you have no sense of humor, you fucking idiot. What do you mean?
So... I'm just pretending to be retarded.
Yeah, this is dumb. Just keep going.
adjacent meme like this, the Kekistani flag, which is a recolored Nazi Wehrmacht flag, also commonly wielded by neo-Nazi protesters.
Because it was funny. Because everyone kept saying they're Nazis, they're Nazis, they're Nazis, and then blah 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 blah. Make your own country. So they make Kekistan. It was a giant shitpost. The fuck.
matters. But here, it's just an edgy joke, you see. Or is it? If the response is negative, say if someone replies with, "Dude, what the fuck is this?" then oh, it's just a joke, it's just a meme, lamau, don't take it seriously. But if the response is positive, like, "Heh, my fellow red-pilled Kakistani brother, whom the eco science elites couldn't brainwash," then often the meme is suddenly not a joke. Ha, I know, right? Oy vey. And it's
That's so stupid. This is funny. You know what, Adam? You may not be willing to go outside because you're afraid of the sun, but you sure did put a video together.
That is true. This is definitely one of the videos of all time.
This is definitely a video that exists on the internet.
It's just a joke, but what if it's not? Oh my god.
What if it's not? What if they're trying to build a weapon to surpass Metal Gear?
Oh my god. What? Oh my god. When Ryan posts a Godzilla joke, what if he's actually Godzilla? And he hopes a giant radiation dinosaur pops out.
Doesn't he realize it'd be really hard to kill Godzilla if he really existed?
This is.
Oh man.
This is special.
I had a response to spiders about shooting the Earth with a meteor. Does that mean because spiders exist, I want to kill the Earth? No. The fuck do you mean?
No, Saber. It does. You're actually building a weapon of mass destruction and a space rocket.
It's true. I have a launcher on the moon already.
Exactly. You're just
So
waiting for.
so I can watch it get destroyed from a safe distance.
Exactly.
Oh.
It's all part of the meme plan. You see.
It's not like the person who posted the Kakistani flag is pretending either way. This is the funny part. Such people legitimately don't know what their intent is with the meme they post. Is it just an edgy joke or is it serious? It depends on the meme's public reception. Of course, not all Warhammer memes.
Jesus
Guy,
Christ.
This is so disingenuous and like tinfoil hatty, it's ridiculous.
This is holy fuck, man. Like, ha.
This guy needs to go outside, man. He needs to go hang out with some people.
I don't usually tell people to touch grass, but please go outside, go to a restaurant with your friends and family,
or just go hang out with the Arby's staff at your local establishment.
Go hang out at your local Arby's, man. There you go. Do that.
Even
though like that,
Arby's
quite
is actually.
Listen, every country that doesn't have an Arby's, are they really a country? Didn't think so.
Few of them are. I can tell you a percentage here. So far, I could only determine that a non-trivial number of them exist, and that such Schrodinger's shitposts are part of the far-right infiltration and co-opting of Warhammer 40k. It provides a nice little grey zone where
The far-right co-opting of 40k. It's fucking British, man. They hate anything to do with the far-right. What do you mean?
Yeah, like the British people. Their right wing is not nearly as right wing as the American right wing, and the American right wing isn't very right wing compared to the right wing of America fucking 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll have you want to know both sides support corporations and pay raises.
yeah,
themselves.
They're both shit. Horseshoe theory is a real thing for a reason. The whole the right wing co-op. No, like, oh, I'm sure there was at least one guy who was trying to co-opt the entirety of Warhammer 40k for the right. There's also people on the left doing the same shit, so like, what the fuck does it matter?
Yeah, so like, guess what? If 40k became an extreme right-wing thing, it would just quickly fall to becoming an extreme left-wing thing, and vice versa. Because eventually both sides would try to get it to keep the other one from having it. Both sides would run it into the ground, and then it would end up somewhere back in the middle again. If they actually recovered and started making money.
Yeah.
Otherwise, one side would take it, and then the other side would probably ruin it. Which in this scenario he posted would be the right wing takes it, they lose control of it because they're stuck at what they do because the right wing hates fun. And then the left wing takes it, and then they can't maintain anything, so they fucking just run it into the ground.
Because they also hate fun, just differently.
Yeah.
Like, this is retarded. This is funny, but it's retarded.
All right, well, let's watch this man continue to spin us a yarn.
You can keep dog whistling or posting what are essentially Nazi memes, only it's Warhammer 40k, so normies will think nothing of it. Far-right infiltration of 40k is such a recurring problem that Games Workshop had to issue multiple statements already
So that statement, the Warhammer is for everyone.
Yeah.
Essentially Nazi memes, only
see.
it's Warhammer 40k, so normies will think nothing of it. Far-right infiltration of 40k.
So this was, as far as I understand it, this was not issued by the company, like, intentionally. Like, this was apparently a rogue, like, and random intern posted this. Because this happened right after the fucking, what's it called? The guy who dressed as a fascist and won that Spanish tournament. This was posted, like, right after that got viral, that he did that. And it's an empty platitude.
Yeah, this is just corporate nonsense.
This is corporate speak to get you to, because I have a lot of not influencers, because they only care about money, but a lot of, like, websites that deal with Warhammer were talking about it, and this was just get the fuck off our back.
Yeah, it's corporate speak. You would get the same thing if there was an incident like that at Walmart. You know?
Yeah, this is a nothing burger.
If there was all of a sudden a popular video of Nazis shopping at Walmart would just do the same thing.
Yeah. This isn't actually anything. This is just corporo bullshit. And stupid people like to think this is a very real thing on both sides of the political spectrum, mostly on the left, but also on the right.
Such a recurring problem that Games Workshop had to issue multiple statements already stating that Warhammer is for everyone.
Yeah, the Imperium is driven by hate. Like, this is one of the ones that people like to point to both support their argument and bash their political rivals on the head with, because, like, right at the top there, what does it say? There are no goodies in the Warhammer 40k. None. Okay, that's true. But then at the end of it, they're like, but also we want you to keep buying our shit.
Yeah.
So again, more corporate bullshit.
It's corporate speak. Honestly, it's good to.
It's genius.
I think you're supporting them.
It's genius. Yeah, they've gotten really good at it.
Yeah, both sides go, hey, these guys support me. That means they're okay, but they still do things I don't like. So I'm gonna sit here and bitch about it.
But still buy the plastic.
Oh, yeah.
It is not based on hate. It is satire, and that far-right people.
Also, yeah, they're like, it is satire, except it's not, because they literally couldn't provide a single instance of it being a satire. Because it hasn't been satirical in a long time. Arguably, it never was, because I think Rick Priestley, the creator of it, said it wasn't based on satire. It was just based on a bunch of shit he thought was cool. Thrown into a blender.
Should fuck off from the hobby, basically. So that's nice. But at the same time, Games Workshop is commissioning video games that neglect the satire in favor of a broader appeal, where the hero, who belongs to a literal superior race, selflessly protects his civilization from the marauding hordes of freaks and degenerates. And this is seen by far-right people who, in their own imaginations, are heroes who belong to a superior race, selflessly protecting their civilization from the marauding hordes of freaks and degenerates. And so they identify with Warhammer 40k. They are drawn to Warhammer 40k content. They co-opt the aesthetics of Warhammer 40k, no matter how many
What are the aesthetics of Warhammer 40k? Churches, Gothic churches, and skulls, and industry. Not exactly
industrial stuff.
Not exactly something that's been I would associate with either side of the political spectrum.
Yeah. That's a lot of the stuff he just says like it's true, and it's not.
It's not. It's a word salad because he's saying it relatively quickly to make it sound like he's smart. He's really confident in what he's talking about.
As we pause it, like if you just listen to what he says, it's stupid.
Yeah, it's nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
I feel like we said that a lot in this video, though.
But it's true though. It's kind of the problem.
Keep going.
Statements Games Workshop makes, no matter how much they insist on 40k being satire, as long as the ultra-popular games make the Imperium look cool and badass, righteous even, the far-right will inevitably stay in its orbit and try to co-opt it. This is why Warhammer...
What does he think I still don't understand what he thinks the alternative. If we make the game not cool and epic, people will not want to play it. That means the far-right loses. What? Yeah, that means they lose their money too, you retard.
Yeah, And there's plenty of left-wing people who bought the fucking game too. And there's a whole ass subreddit dedicated to left-wing socialist infiltration of Warhammer. That's literally their stated goal. Like to say like, oh, it's just the right wing doing it. It's like, no, both sides are fucking doing it, dude.
Yeah, it's because the political parties have like become ravenously against each other.
When they both need to realize they're all retarded, and only I am superior. No, but the right is doing this. So's the left, man. They both do stupid shit. They're both stupid.
Yes, they do. Continue.
40k, in my opinion, is doomed to always have far-right hanger-ons, unless they take the lore into a different direction. And I'm not...
Which would cost them everything.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Quite
Just
sure
change
to
the
do
lore,
that,
man.
while
It's
also
not
preserving
important.
the grimdark setting, which is one of the main appeals of the IP. I do have some ideas here, though. I think what would help is getting more left-leaning people into the hobby.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so Sig Marxism is the Reddit page dedicated to left-wing infiltration of Warhammer.
Well, how ironic that he brought it up.
Yeah, they have fucking Karl Marx on the fucking on a Sigmarine, on a whatever the fuck they're called, Stormcast's Eternal Body. Like, dude, Warhammer's already full of lefties in terms of the writing. Almost all the writers for the books are left-wing. Like, what the fuck do you think is happening? Holy shit.
Yeah, because leftists make such good media currently. They only control all of Hollywood, and it's going to the toilet.
What are you talking about? They made such good movies like,
Alright, moving on.
You're telling me the Marvels wasn't the pinnacle of entertainment?
No, as a matter of fact, it was quite bad.
Oh.
Also, Games Workshop could add more diversity to the Imperium just to make the Chuds angry.
So he wants to do it specifically to make the Chuds angry, which means he doesn't have a fucking point.
Yeah.
Also, the Imperium is diverse as fuck. It has whites, Chinese, blacks, Mexicans, everything.
I mean, if he played Space Marine 2, he would know that one of your teammates is an Asian guy and one of your teammates is
As a black guy, right?
a black guy.
Yeah, so oh no. Like, should GW make more female guardsman models? Sure. People have been asking that for 30 years, including the people you quote as the right-wing hanger-ons that hate all of it.
Female Space Marines? Hell yeah. Female Adeptus Custodes? Naturally. Adopt us custodes. Also, add more
You still said it wrong.
Yeah.
skin colors.
They are...
Paint the skin colors, you retard!
You control the brushes and paints you use, man.
Ensuing outrage will basically be free advertising.
They do show plenty of blacks and whites and Mexicans and Asians and shit in the paint jobs already, with all their model ranges. The only times they don't is when there's a lore reason. For instance, all the Raven Guard are all really fucking pale because their gene seat's fucked up, so they're all pale. Salamanders, their gene seat's fucked up, so they have onyx black skin. Space Marine gene seed, one of the organs in it, changes your fucking skin color to better match the environment, so you don't get fucking sunburn, essentially. Little organ that people always forget is a thing.
Yeah, well, God forbid he actually learns anything about the hobby to actual constructive criticism.
No.
He just goes, Space Marines should be female. That way you can just have female heads that cost $50 for 3 of them.
You gotta own the chuds. If your only argument for something is to piss someone else off, you have no point.
Yeah, it's because you don't care about the thing.
Yeah, you don't care. Your opinion is less than worthless.
Those who are put off by that, you don't want them in the hobby.
That's not a thing.
They spend money.
Yeah.
Why don't you want them in the hobby? People, you want the money. It doesn't matter how you get it from a fucking sales perspective.
Again, pointing out that when the Sisters of Battle came out, the range was fucking sold out for months.
Yeah.
A whole female faction.
If you did a guardswomen one where it was just a bunch of guard chicks, it would probably sell out for months too.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you have to be like, hey, we need this fact. Like, where does it stop? Do we need an all-female version of, I don't know. Do we need sexy lady Tyranids? Call them hive queens?
Yes, Queen. No, it's so. There's a lot of people who are like, there's so many male-only armies in Warhammer. And it's like, okay, the only all-male factions in Warhammer is fucking Space Marines and Custodes. The only female-only factions are Sisters of Silence and Sisters of Battle. Everything else is mixed or has no gender because it's a fucking alien or a construct. Like there isn't some vast discrepancy, right? Oh, but there's so many more Space Marine players. It's like, yeah, because they're popular, stupid.
Yeah, they're the poster boys of the setting.
Like, this isn't hard to figure out. You just, you need a couple wrinkles on your fucking noggin.
Hobby anyway. Do you have some more ideas? Feel free to share them in the comments.
No.
Normally I don't read them, but this time I'm genuinely interested and will go over them at least once. In the meantime, thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my work, consider becoming a patron.
I'm not
or
going to read your comments, but this time I swear I'm generally interested.
This might have just been a rage bait, the video. I'm not actually sure. But, like, it's so retarded. It's so stupid. It very well could, like, it could be completely serious. I don't know this guy's channel. I don't know what else he's done.
Man, I didn't expect this when you told me I had to help you watch a video, but
I needed someone to bounce off of.
this was stupid.
This is extremely stupid. I wasn't expecting the fucking 10 minutes of Starship Troopers nonsense.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, he had no argument for anything. Like, if we look at what he said, he's like, okay, Space Marine are Nazis because it's like Starship Troopers, which are also Nazis, which is why Nazis are bad, because Nazis are like racist, and racists are bad, and they're trying to take 40k away from its real fans, so we need to get more left people in so that we can have female Space Marines and Custodes. Hell yeah.
You did quite literally sum up his entire 22-minute video in a 30-second rant.
So he had nothing. Like, if you wanted to say, like, hey, they need more female mono ranges, fucking look into the setting. But you know what we could use more female mono ranges for? Mechanicus, Tau, Groot. Oh, Groot don't have female. Guard in general. You could bring multiple kinds of guard factions back. I mean, you're probably already gonna sell out of your Krieg stuff. You could bring Morty and Iron Guard back, give them female miniatures. You could do all kinds of shit to do the diversity that these people apparently want, but that's not what they want. They want women for the man army, but God forbid if you put men in as Sisters of Silence.
I want Lady Space Marines. Do you want Misters of Battle? No.
Misters of Battle.
Yeah, no, it's always the same fucking shit. I want change, but I don't actually want change. I just want a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about what they really need to do, it's just completely redo the Leagues of Votann.
Yes. Just delete them.
Yeah, just have the Tyranids kill them off again.
Do me a favor, Games Workshop. All right, just kill off all the Leagues of Votann.
Yes, yes, Games Workshop, because you will totally see this video and
exactly
take everything we said 100% seriously, and then know that you have to delete the Leagues of Votann or I hit the Earth with a meteor. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.